la ciencia.
Me, myself, and I still pushing forward, I'm ahead like die. Standing on my flow with my head to the sky. Pass on a bitch, young rip, drop dimes. It's been a rough road, gotta look for the signs. I'm married to this music, so I cook for my bride. Flip out like a skateboarder, look how I grind. It took a long time, but I'm right on time. I'm progressing, that's progressive, I got bars like a correction. Still chasing petty cash, that's a mantis. I want extra, I stop searching for my pops. I hold my nuts just like a checkup. I get physical, I'm copping just like Interpol. I play on words like a syllable, to me the world is fading. Hold this L just like a Laker, like a birthday, my shit caking. It get messy like an apron, I pick out just like some bacon, and I sizzle like it too. Can't forget about you, boo, it feel like we on a loop. Same shit, different day, I don't know what's really true. I get high as I leave hoops, who gon' give me what I'm owed? Man, I guess nobody knew, and I know that money talks, so what it said is probably true. It's the feeling that I get, and the shit I'll probably do to get through or get by. I get fly, cause I'm Jeff Goldblum in my mind. Tell them hoes to fall in line. If you thought I fell off, bitch, I'm back like my spine. Hot as homemade pie, that's the pro rate, ma. I'm a pro, ain't I? Sniff it out like K9s. I'm a thief, it take time to be great, I'm Bayside. I get blue like Kelly Parker, when I'm gone I left a mark. Tell them fish I'm still a shark, I got will, I will embark on this journey till it's finished. In the midst of all this friction, I got vision on my P's like no limit. Like a mouse, now we clicking, I go out for the spinach, that's business.
Cut the cord that kept us connected, blacking out the mirror where your light once reflected. All of the love from up above, we used to fit like a glove. I still think about the you that only exists in my brain. Nothing ever stays the same, guess it's just a shame. There's no one to blame.
Stop looking for somebody else to lay the blame. Without a wave of change, life stays the same. So when I pull up to your spot, I'm with a paradigm chick. Only used to have one and it's my paradigm ship. Calls for celebration, I cracked the hand. I took a hiatus, but I'm back again. A bunch of blue face hundreds, I've been stacking them. Cause in the game of life, I just have to win. So when I'm in go mode, I be ballin' insane. Tried to walk away, they was calling my name. My brothers from another, we are all in the game. Don't give a fuck about clout nor all of the fame. I'm trying to inspire, empower, build and progress at a steady rate. Move heavyweight like a Bowflex. The haters make me greater, they mad, I got them so stressed. Shock my style for a while, now I can show text. Screenshots as proof and receipts. You a certified clown, been a goof in the streets. Angel made the beat, but this my demon flow. Get a lot of love from people I don't even know. And when the situation's ugly like Dudley, we do right. Fuck propaganda, let's conquer and unite. The wait's over, take over, it's commencing. My money fully grown, but yours like an infant. But that ain't no shade to you, it's just provision and protection, what you made to do. Being a man with a purpose, who you supposed to be. Living life as a loser, that's a joke to me. FN 509, stay close to me. If I pull it, I'ma spray like some potpourri. I don't wanna have to go there, so hopefully you don't try to have no beef or no smoke with me. Bro, everything I'm talking about, be backing it up. I'm back in the cuts, rapping the Dutch and macking a hut. She start to get aroused when I'm smacking her butt. Baby got stupid cheeks and she be clapping it up. I'ma enter through the front and hit the back of her guts. She a classy lady, but be acting a slut when we be kissing and cuddling. My bitch like to hug. Her box customized so it fit like a glove.
Hey, 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 yo! B-Eazy is that dude, you already know. For show, you already know. It's easy to see why he is that dude. He's been a favorite, even if you hating it. Give him his flowers, pay him respect. He's a legend and one of the best.
We all here to see B-Eazy. We wanna listen to B-Eazy. Ayy, we all like B-Eazy. Nah, matter of fact, we love B-Eazy. Believe me, he really that dude. Subscribe subscribe to the channel, it's easy to do. If you care, then go ahead and share this fire content, extraordinarily rare. That's why I put that on my mama, he is that dude. And I put that on my daddy, he is that dude. So
he always do it big, you know who it is. B-Eazy, B-Eazy, B-Eazy that dude. He on his way to the top and he ain't about to stop. You thought he would flop and didn't wanna give him props. The things you dreaming about he already did do. Now it's time to soak a game, he about to give you. Like, share, follow, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to tune in when he goes live. Make a contribution if you feeling the content. Tap into the realness if you tired of the nonsense. I mean no disrespect, ain't trying to sound rude, but the world already knows that B-Eazy's that dude. Ooh.
hey yo, who is that dude? Oh girl, that's just B-Eazy. Oh boy, that's just B-Eazy. Well, who is B-Eazy? Oh, you ain't know, he been a pro for show, all about the dough. He been running up them racks and still trying to get some more. Don't care about the fame, just trying to gain and grow. He really one of them ones, his presence so pivotal. So hell yeah, he that dude, this is unequivocal.
Turn your radios up. Turn your radios up. Y'all know what this is. Y'all know who this is. B-Eazy Dat Dude, an impromptu stream back with another one. This one is gonna be a banger. We'll ruffle some feathers, so it will be a doozy. I don't like to keep y'all waiting. So before we get this thing started, you know, I gotta hit ya.
If you know the song, sing along. Yeah, you're right.
私も地元民と言っても実は少ないんです。もう友達できたの？うん。ぶったさんのこっち見ろ。
Look, this promethazine got me leaning like a cholo in the club. I'm 20 deep. I don't be riding solo. Pull some bad bitches, they vanilla and cocoa. They wanna take some photos when we kick it out in Soho. Chicks are showing tits and popping pussy for my promo. Told them like juvenile, baby, moving for me slow-mo. Then I'm right back to the block, cause I keep getting moto. I be flipping, not shrinking. I don't give a fuck about This nigga name ain't D-Lo, but pimpin' these bitches and stacking this bread forever be my stilo. This is B-Eazy Dat Dude in the trap making pass smooth. If I ever go broke, then I'm about to pull a jack move. Since a nigga healthy, I don't even gotta worry. With my bitch from Fiji eating tandoori and chicken curry, that ism is really in me. My pimp game international, I design my own clothes, so I be always looking fashionable. Here's a couple facts about me that y'all didn't know. Some of y'all be getting bread, but I be getting bigger, dawg. I got bigger guns and a whole lot of bad. And we are activated, and we gonna get right into this thing. But it looks like we've been joined by an illustrious guest. I don't know if that's a kid. I don't know if that's a troll, but salute to Derek Garris
in building. So we gonna get right into it. Y'all seen the title, y'all seen the thumbnail, right? Oh, and of course, hold on. Is that hold that this can't be this ain't who I think it is.
Oh, damn! Dr. Press, wait a minute. I know you. Wait a minute.
Is that really her? Sunlight from the Sunshine State, shining brighter than the diamond, back after an extended hiatus in building. Salute to Sunlight. Is that really her? Okay, cool. She said, yes, it's me. I'm like, is that her? Okay. Sunlight, salute to the sister. And look, we gonna get right into this thing. So in the title, I put two white or W Jewish people or J people arguing over this. And of course, they're arguing over the conflict, right? And this is why people always try to separate many Jewish people, their ethnicity from their racial category, which how many times do I have to repeat this? 92% of American Jews are legally, socially classified as racially white. There's no gun to their head forcing them to identify that way. They're identifying that way based on scientific, biological, and social constructed accuracy. So the people I'm going to address in this debate, one of them, his name is Adam Sosnick. Adam was born into a Jewish American family in Miami, Florida. Maybe you may have seen him out there, Sunlight. He is an American national and a proud Jew. His ethnicity is mixed. Okay. Mixed with what? They don't say, but clearly the dude is white, right? So let me show y'all. This is what Adam Sosnick looks like. So once you see Adams, oh, hold on. I think it opened a different page. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Oh yeah, I think it goes to a different page, but hold on. Let me pull up a picture of what this dude looks like. Give me 1 second. Just so y'all can have oh, actually, well, you'll see when I pull up the debate. But then I also want to bring up one other person. Just give me 1 second. Dave Smith. Now, both of these people are anti-black, so I really don't care for them. But I do want to break down some of the buffoonery, some of the hypocrisy and contradictions. Dave Smith. Let me see. Could y'all see this? Dave Smith was raised in Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at? When I say where Brooklyn at, I ain't talking about you, Dave Smith. He was born in Brooklyn by his single mother. Hold on. So whenever people talk to Dave Smith, why don't anyone talk about that he was born out of wedlock? So is out of wedlock births an issue, or is it only an issue when we're framing it around a certain demographic? These are not my facts. Dave Smith was born to a single Jewish mother. Where they do that at? Anyways, when you see this guy, all you see is just another white dude, but they want you to convince that he's Jewish. Yeah, he's a white Jewish dude. So that's just the preface of the discussion. And it looks like we've been joined by an illustrious guest, a Tay-Bay in the building. So Tay-Bay, you're going to want to tune in. This one will be a doozy. Now, that's just the preface of the discussion, because never let people get that off when they try to say, it's the Jew. Okay, cool. There's no race called Jewish. So for historical accuracy purposes, what race are the people that we're talking about? Right? Because there's no race called Jewish. So we want to be accurate as humanly possible. So the breakdown I'm going to do is of those two debating, or the white dude, Dave Smith, the white Jewish dude, Dave Smith, versus the white Jewish dude and Adam Sosnick. And they're on the white platform of Piers Morgan. Now, there's nothing wrong with being white. So anyone in the chat that wants to say, hey, you want me to feel guilty because I'm white? No, being a human being is a beautiful thing, whether you're black, white, yellow, or otherwise. But let's just not pretend what we're not. If you see a lion in the wilderness, there's no need for that lion to pretend that they're a zebra, right? It's like, you're a lion, embrace it. You're white, embrace it, enjoy it. So let's get into this debate.
Says this about Robert Mueller. Some more. Dave Smith, host of Part of the Problem, a libertarian who backed Trump in 2024, and Adam Sosnick, who's the Valuetainment host and PBD podcast regular, a former liberal who backed Trump in 2024. Well, welcome to both of you. Dave Smith, we'll come to the tsunami that greeted your last appearance on Uncensored, led by Ben Shapiro a little later. But first of all, this sort of quaint notion now being peddled by people in the mainstream media that the podcast world is irrelevant, no one's ever heard.
So just to be clear, what difference do you see between them and Piers Morgan, right? Piers Morgan is a British dude, and both of these dudes are Jewish, right? But what is the difference between them and Rabbi Shmuley? Rabbi Shmuley is white, Dave Smith is white. But we're supposed to fixate on their religious beliefs and their ethnicity. But when it's black people, we don't talk about ethnicity. It's like, we all black. We have to lump everybody into one big global Negro. But when it comes to the J people, they get to maintain their ethnic sovereignty. Even when you say, hey, you guys are all Jewish, they say, no, I'm Ashkenazi, or I'm Sephardic or Hasidic. They delineate within the Jewish faith. The data is disaggregated based on the differences and distinctions within their Jewish diaspora, right? Ashkenazi doesn't think they're the same as a Sephardic Jew, right? So I just want this to be clear, because a lot of people always try to say that some Jewish people are running the country and there's a cabal of Jewish people. Okay, maybe it is, but what race are those people? You look at Dave Smith, he's clearly white, but they want you to fixate on him being Jewish. No, he's white. What is the difference between Dave Smith and Bernie Sanders racially? Nothing, because they're the same race, which is white.
Of any of the podcasters or we YouTubers or anything, and we should all just be ignored. I don't think that's true.
Oh, I mean, it's patently absurd on its face. I mean, again, I'm not trying to like overstate the influence that any one podcast or show has. But I mean, lots of people listen to shows. They don't necessarily agree completely with the host of that show. But again, you know, to say, look, I mean, Pierce, if you look at the polls, what the polls tell us is that this is the most unpopular war in American history going into the war. And CNN is going to read you these North Korea numbers. Actually, in fact, I think it was better than Kim Jong-un did in his last election, 100% of MAGA. But what does that really mean? I mean, the truth is, Pierce, you kind of nailed it here in your opening, right? Even when Joe Biden was clearly senile and was forced to pull out of his re-election campaign, the majority of Biden supporters still supported him, you know, and like there was still going to be like 40-something% of the electorate would have voted for Joe Biden. Now, that wasn't enough, though, and that's why they forced him out, because you need a coalition to carry you here. So this comes down to like how you're defining MAGA. If you want to say Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and Andrew Schultz and all these guys, they're not MAGA. Well, okay, but they were relevant enough for Donald Trump to go on all of their shows in the campaign. And the point is that the coalition that got Donald Trump elected in 24, that got him for the first time ever to win the popular vote, that coalition has been destroyed. And the final thing I'll say is this, Pierce. I made this prediction on my show the other day. But right now, you kind of have these two, broadly speaking, camps, say Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, maybe people like me, who are saying the coalition has been destroyed. And then on the other side, you have people like you played Bacha, Ben Shapiro, who are saying, no, the coalition is fine. What we've learned is that Tucker Carlson doesn't matter. Give it a couple months, Pierce, and I promise you, everyone on that side will say the coalition has been destroyed and it's Tucker's fault. This is going to tank Donald Trump's presidency. We're already past the point of that. The Democrats are going to win the House and the Senate. It's going to be impeachments and subpoenas and investigations for the next 2 years. And I don't think anyone from this administration can win the presidential in 28 at this pace.
Right. Well, Adam, you're part of a very...
So that I do agree with them with. I don't think that anyone in this administration will win in 2028. However, these dudes purport themselves to be the high IQs. How didn't you know this was going to happen? Now they'll reframe it and say, hey, we voted because Kamala was just that bad. But as bad as she is, which I have my own reasons for not voting for either of them, but would Kamala have been this bad? Right, because they love to talk about the lesser of two evils. Like maybe Kamala actually was the lesser of two evils. That's what some MAGA people are saying. This is what Nick the Prick Fuentes is saying. And here you got Dave Smith over here whining and saying, oh my God, Trump betrayed his base. No, he didn't. He looked you in your face and lied to you. That's what politicians do. Trump is no different. He's a liar. But people were, well, he's better than Kamala. Better how? Better at lying? Better at convincing you? People that don't even have a prestigious academic background could see this from a mile away. And you got these three stooges on the screen that are saying that Trump betrayed us because we thought he was America first. He's donor first. He doesn't care about America. He's Trump first. He's about his family first, not about America. And these stooges were too stupid to realize that. Dave Smith is libertarian, yet he wouldn't back or vote for the libertarian candidate because of reasons, right? Ideally, the libertarian candidate should align more with what Dave Smith is believing with. And that's why these libertarians, all they are is just disaffected Republican. They pretend as if they're libertarians, but all they are is just disaffected right-wingers. The same thing that Bernie Sanders, he's an independent. He's I know is what I call an independent in name only. He caucuses with the Democrat. He's a Democrat. When he runs as a president, he runs as a Democrat. When it's clear that he's not going to win the Democratic primary, instead of running as an independent that he is, he just, well, I'll let the Democrats have it. But I thought you were an independent. And this is no different with Dave Smith, right? I'm a libertarian who's always voting for right-wing imbeciles.
Very successful podcast. Patrick Bet-David's been a regular on this show, as have other members of your great team. And, I would say just from a personal, you can only judge it personally, I guess, but I've been on some of the biggest TV shows, mainstream TV shows you could think of, right? America's Got Talent for 6 years. Britain's Got Talent. I replaced Larry King at CNN. They aired my show 3 times a day in America and around the world, and so on and so on. And what's been fascinating to me in the last couple of years is I get more people come up to me in the street, wherever I am, whether it's New York, LA, London, Sydney, the Middle East, whatever. More people come up and they're a bit younger.
So number one, Pierce, great to be with you. Dave, good to see you. It's been a little while, and thank you for dressing up, Dave. The question that you're asking is, are young people watching social media and they're watching YouTube? Obviously, duh. My mom still watches the news at 8 p.m. and if she misses it, that's it. She doesn't see it. She hasn't figured out how to get on social media. She still tries to ask me how to find me on YouTube and on Instagram. But yes, the 35 and under crowd is on social media. And I'll tell you an anecdote. I'm a registered independent. I never voted for Trump. And then I had common sense and realized, do you vote for Trump, who might be brutish and an a-hole, or you vote for a weak, feckless, I wouldn't even call it leader like Kamala? And obviously the choice is pretty easy, but I would debate with my liberal friends.
So he called Kamala weak and feckless, but isn't Trump weak and feckless? Whenever Bibi Netanyahu comes to the White House, Trump bends the knee, bends over, and spreads cheeks. The war that we're in right now, the conflict that we're engaging in right now, is this making America great again? We're fighting a conflict on behalf of Israel, right? So who's really in charge here? But he's saying that Kamala would have been a weak leader, which, yeah, she probably would have been. Trump seems to be a very weak leader when it comes to the things that matter. He'll be authoritative in, demonizing certain groups or putting all the political theater to make it seem like he's, the deporter in chief, right? But when it comes to kitchen table issues, right, he seems pretty weak on lowering gas prices. He seems pretty weak on lowering the cost of living. He seems pretty weak on lowering the cost of housing. That seems pretty weak and feckless. We don't need a strong man that's going around talking about shithole countries. They're bringing crime. Okay, fine, right? Build the wall, right? It sounds tough, but all that is bloviating bluster. It doesn't have a lot of meat on the bones. You know what I mean? It's just political theater. But what is really truly coming of it? You know what I mean? He's not doing mass deportations. He's tearing down history. That's pretty weak and feckless. You want to talk about American exceptionalism. You want to talk about that, hey, this is a nation of laws. This is a nation of conservatism and morality. But then you want to tear down all of the immoral things that you've done. How pathetic and grotesque is that? There's nothing honorable about that. There's nothing conservative about that. You point your fingers at particular communities and say that they need to have accountability. Then when we have accountability displayed all over the country in museums or in certain parks and national institutions, it's like, tear that down. We don't want to remember slavery or Jim Crow. All of these things you were proud of. You were proud to say no niggers allowed. You were proud to redline. You were proud to mass incarcerate. And you documented it. And now when we just highlight the documentations of what you did, what you were proud of, now it's considered being woke and we need to tear it down. That's pretty weak and feckless. That's not a leader, right? A leader will say, yes, we have a horrible past and we need to address the horrible past so we're not doomed to repeat it. It was a horrible past and let's just sweep it under the rug because American exceptionalism. No, that's American delusion.
It was very, very, very tight with the Clinton people, part of the Hillary campaign. And he noticed as I was starting.
And also, we've been joined by an illustrious guest. Salute to Big Rig Slaps, the big block boat rider in building. Let's get back into it.
To become more, let's just say, less Trump hating. This is in 2023, 2024, run up to the election. And then he goes, dude, I don't even know what happened to you. You're like full on MAGA now. I go, no, I just have common sense. I see what's going on the radical left. And it's so un-American to me. And he goes, yeah, you're just in your little YouTube world. I'm in the real world with the real politicians and the real polls. I got the real stuff going on. I go, hey, buddy, his name is John. I go, John, this is the real world now, guy. Yeah, we'll see.
This is what you call babbling incoherently. Why the fuck is he even telling this goofy story, bruh?
So obviously we see what happens in the election. This is not the type of person that likes to apologize, right? Comes up to me and he goes, Adam, I was dead wrong. You're right. This is the new YouTube world. Congratulations on all your success, Pierce, and welcome to the YouTube world. It is what it is.
Okay, well, we're sort of in broad agreement there. Let's get to broad disagreement, I suspect, which is the way this war is playing out. I mean, Dave, I've really struggled to work out the upside for Donald Trump from the start of this. Doing this so close to the midterms, doing exactly what he said he wouldn't do, which is he was going to stop attacking Middle Eastern countries. It was all going to be America first, a premium on sorting out American problems in America. And then suddenly he launches a war on one of the biggest countries in the Middle East, certainly one of the best armed. And all hell has broken loose, not least to the global economy, which is inevitably going to have, and already is having, a very detrimental effect on living standards for average Americans. If I'm an American that voted for Trump, I'm like, I don't get this. I might in a poll say, I get it, but I don't think I really get it.
Yeah, and then you also have to consider there, Pierce, right? Like there's a sizable percentage of people who support Donald Trump, who approve of the job broadly that he's been doing, who maybe, look, we're 3 weeks or whatever into this, go, all right, I'll kind of give him a chance. We'll see. But if this doesn't turn into any type of win, and if it turns into a clear disaster, which it already seems to be, that's only going to hurt him more and more and more. I think, look, Pierce, it's despite the fact that it is not in my incentives in some way as like a political commentator, like I hope this whole thing just works out great. And then I know that all the people who don't like me will say, ha ha, you were warning that this would be a disaster. I hope that I would much rather take that deal and live in that. But Pierce, the other element there is that, right, we had the 12-day war in the summer. And I've certainly heard, I heard at the time, some on debates that we did on your show and others. And I've heard nothing but since then on social media that, you guys were so stupid. You were warning about exactly what we're seeing right now, which is what all of us were warning about who are critics of the 12-day war. But Iran didn't do that. And they were like, look, we got away with it. One and done. No Americans dead. And that's it. We don't have to do anything else. They spent the following 6 months bragging about how the nuclear threat had been totally obliterated. Now we find ourselves, Pierce, back in this same situation. And as I mentioned last time on your show, the big picture here is that clearly the calculation changed for Iran. They no longer feel that it's in their incentive for self-preservation to not strike back and kill Americans or not do maximal damage. And now, clearly, with a younger, more radical Ayatollah who has not promised to not build nuclear weapons, they've made the calculation that actually they can't not give us a bloody nose, that they have to really make this cost us. Otherwise, we'll be back in another few months doing it again. And of course, at the beginning of this war, Donald Trump said this was a full regime change war and called for the people to rise up and overthrow their government. And the people did rise up, Pierce, in support of their martyr Ayatollah and in support of this regime. I know you saw some of those aerial shots. There must have been hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets in Tehran, in the most liberal part of the country, supporting the regime. So I'm sorry, at this point, this just looks like a catastrophe. And the best we can hope for at this point is that it only ends up killing like 10,000 people, and it only ends up costing tens of billions of dollars rather than the 200 that Secretary Hegseth has asked for. And this all relies on two major factors. Think about this, Pierce. It's not just that Donald Trump has to call it quit and declare victory or whatever, but then we got two other entities that are majorly involved in this war, Iran and Israel. Now, we know at this point, Iran is saying they're vowing not to stop. They talk a lot of bluster. Who knows? Maybe they will. But Israel, Pierce, we all know they want the regime change here. In the 12-day war and in this war already, they've hit targets after Trump has clearly asked them not to. Who's to say they don't continue doing that? And it begs a real question of how we get out of this quagmire. Yeah, 3 weeks in, we're already there.
Right. So, Adam, you've...
Now, everything he just explained, how does that help America? How is us over there bombing little girls' schools and slaughtering hundreds of little girls in Iran? How is that helping America again? Gas prices are through the roof, and you think that it has no correlation with the suppression of oil delivery across the globe, right? So this is Israel's war, but it's starting to hit home, and now they're threatening to send troops on the ground. All of these politicians that people, even these YouTubers, right? These YouTubers that people look up to, do you think any of their kids are going to go fight in these wars? Do you think anyone in Congress, right? The average age of Congress is over 60, really closer to 65, right? Do you think they're going to send any of their kids to go fight in these pointless, meaningless wars?
I had a little spat with Dave on social media when he called it an illegal war of aggression on X. You said, "Come on, guy, read the room." Dave responded, "Let's not pretend you read, Adam." To which you replied, "I'm able to read scoreboards. You are losing big time." Do you still feel that? I mean, do you still feel that? Because I would argue that the scoreboards militarily absolutely would show that the United States and Israeli combined forces have inflicted enormous damage on Iran's military capability. I think that's inarguable. However, what I don't think has been properly factored in by the Americans and Israelis is the ability of Iran to wage an economic war in parallel to a military war. And that by controlling the Straits of Hormuz and by attacking, as they have done, their neighboring Gulf states, both oil refineries and tourist hotspots and so on, they've managed to freak everybody out and they freaked the global markets. And this is incredibly damaging to Donald Trump because every day that Straits of Hormuz is shut, then you will see the impact for the next few weeks and months coming through the US economy and the global economy, but the US economy. You know, when fertilizer, when the impact of that being stopped comes through in a couple of months' time, it takes a while to cut through to the actual people of America. But it will, and when it does, it's going to be very damaging. Do you not think that the longer this goes on, the more of a miscalculation has been made here?
Look, I'm not the Trump is the all B MAGA guy. I'm the guy that was like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this Trump guy. You know what? Oh, I got the fake news. Oh, Russia. Oh, it turns out, yeah, you know, he's way better than the other side. So I had to use logic.
Does this guy sound smart at all? Has anything that he said sound smart? He doesn't look smart. He doesn't sound smart. However, he's working with 100+ millionaire Patrick Bozo David, right? You want to talk about a DEI hire? This is the epitome of a DEI hire. Babbling incoherently. He looks like a doofus, but yet he gets invited on all of these top tier shows to ramble.
And as a measured approach to get me to the point where I'm like, he's the guy. So I'll ask you another question. Let's say Trump wasn't here. What's Kamala doing?
Oh, no,
So
I mean,
everything
don't
in
get me wrong.
politics is binary.
I think Kamala Harris would have been a terrible president. I thought Joe Biden was a terrible president. And I've always said with Trump, I think I find myself agreeing.
So what are you whining about? So they saying they think Kamala would have been a terrible president. This is the whole thing about what they call the duopoly, right? The Republicans would have been terrible, and they are terrible, and the Democrats would have been terrible, which is why people have been saying, hey, let's smash this two-party system. Instead, all they say, well, this person would have been terrible and that person would have been terrible, so I voted for the terrible person. Then they start complaining and say, man, Trump betrayed us. He's terrible. But Kamala would have been terrible too. So what are you complaining about, right? You're making an argument for the lesser of two evils without even saying that, you know what I mean? And then when they talk about they're being portrayed, the fact that these people purport themselves to be high IQ and they're feel betrayed by Trump, who's constantly lying every day. Every day he tells some sort of lie, an exaggeration, or embellishment, right? He omits the truth in many times. He just rambles on, babble incoherently, but because he has some buzzword and bumper sticker that you like, then you willing to excuse him. And then they'll say, yeah, but what about Kamala? Well, I didn't vote for her either. There were other options, right? Now you can say all the options are terrible, but then they had less terrible options, right? I'm sure the libertarian option was less terrible. The Green Party option is less terrible. If we're dealing with terrible as the standard, right? All of these politicians are terrible. You can't try to tell me that Trump was the least of the terrible troops, right? But yet you're complaining about how terrible he is. I thought he was the least, right? you should be praising that, man, it could have been much worse, right? Isn't that what they're advocating? What do you think Kamala would have done? I don't know. We really don't know. You're trying to assume what she would have done, and she would have been terrible because she is a terrible politician. But I can't definitively say that she's more terrible than Trump.
With some of the things he does and disagreeing with others, which I think is the right way to deal with Trump. I think if you just judge him on what comes out of his mouth... Well, that's just
like with anything, Piers. You're not going to agree with everybody and disagree with that.
Right.
And shout out to Johnson Different, a.k.a. John Sinatra, slid through. Shout out to the chat. Go subscribe to Johnson Different. He does have a podcast, and he does segments. One of them is called It Gets Deeper. So definitely check him out. And Veronica John says, does he ever tell the truth? Who are you talking about? Adam Sosnick, Piers Morgan, which one? Because both of them lie. And of course, we got none other than Mr. And due to the time, it ain't midnight, so it's midday. Mr. Midday Soul himself, reporting from a undisclosed location, possibly in America. And Veronica John says Trump. Yeah, Trump is always lying. He's a joke. I would concur. A stumbling, bumbling buffoon and idiot. However, I think Biden was. I think Obama was. I think Clinton and Bush was as well. That's the whole reason why these presidents are selected, not elected. The election is just part of the pageantry, so it makes you feel that this is some sort of democratic process. But ultimately, these presidents were selected by the donor class. Let's get back into it.
So, and look, when I came on the PBD podcast, I loved it because we disagree about stuff, and you guys come on, we disagree, we agree, but we never fall out over it, nor should anybody, right? But on this specific call about Iran, I did say on day one, I think this is a massive gamble, and I don't understand the timing, and I think the capacity for this to go badly wrong is very high. The longer it has gone on, because Trump originally was like, this is over in days, then it's over in a couple of weeks. Then everything started changing. Then the regime change, he said, was going to happen with people rising up.
And there he goes. More lie after Trump. Trump said it'll be over in days. Then he said it'll be over in weeks. Now it's several weeks. And then he's talking about peace. Then he's saying, oh, they want to make peace because they sent me a gift. And then the Iranians are saying, nah, bruh, we're backing out on those talks. So every time they're turning around and lying. Marco Rubio said, hey, we're doing this essentially because Israel wanted us to do it. Then they start walking it back. And then they keep saying this same buzzword and bumper sticker. Iran is the leader of state-sponsored terrorism, right? Meanwhile, that chosen city, run by the chosen people, is slaughtering people in Gaza and Palestine to the tune of tens of thousands, right? But no one cares because they're the chosen people, right? The Star of David people slaughtering people, right? But you're not supposed to say anything.
None of that has happened. There are lots of reasons for it. I think the reason we saw so many pro-regime people hit the streets was they were not going to get killed doing it. We saw in January when people...
So Veronica says, and just to let y'all know, if y'all want to watch the video uninterrupted, go to Piers Morgan channel. I do have to pause it, give commentary so that I make the video transformative. Not only that, I can only take so much of hearing these three stooges, and I love to engage and interact with the chat. So Veronica John says this timing was to camouflage the files. You notice how no one is talking about those files anymore. And also they're trying to drag Bill Cosby through the mud. Look, Bill Cosby is no saint, but they're just overly excessively demonizing him and just piling on to him all sorts of civil suits out of nowhere with millions and millions that he has to pay out in settlements, right? So they're dragging Bill Clinton through the mud as if he's just the biggest monster the world has ever seen. And now people are talking more about Bill Cosby Then the Epi pedo ring, which was considered to be the most notoriously grotesque human trafficking ring of young girls, and those young girls were young white girls. Now, they wouldn't care if it was a bunch of young black girls, but y'all know what Epstein said. He didn't want any niggers around. So all of those girls were young white girls. So it was a bunch of lily white girls, Becky's and Sharon's and Joanne's, right? They're getting trafficked, right? Getting various orifices played with and penetrated, right? By older men, by wealthy men. And it's just all swept under the rug. The only two people, right, that you know about is Ghislaine Maxwell and Epi, the head pedo in charge, right? They have these files and they say, hey, we want to protect the victims, redact the victims' names, right? Let us know who was else in there. Instead, they try to muddy the waters by releasing pictures. Look, Epstein has a picture with Michael Jackson and Jay-Z and Mike Tyson. Those pictures don't tell you anything. That's why it says a picture says 1,000 words. Doesn't mean those 1,000 words are going to be truthful, right? Tell us exactly what y'all know. They're not trying to protect the victims. And if they don't care about young white girls being penetrated, fondled, and trafficked, what the fuck do you think they care about black people and black women in general? They don't care. And unfortunately, many of the MAGA morons and maniacs, the lefty and liberal lunatics, they're just worried about ice out. You know what I mean? And trans competing in Olympics and bathrooms, that all of this stuff is happening right in front of them.
People protested against the regime. A lot got killed. And obviously there are bombs flying around all over the cities of Iran, which will also put people off, I guess. So there are lots of reasons, I guess, why people are protesting or not protesting in certain ways. But to me, the justification for this war has changed so many times. It's made me think, I don't think Donald Trump has any clear idea of what victory looks like. Do you? I mean, if the regime remains intact and they keep their enriched uranium, for example, and they maintain control of the Straits of Hormuz, is that victory?
Well, look, this was not an easy decision. You think, these guys have been in power 47 years. Everybody in our microwave hustle society wants this done in the next 4 to 7 weeks. It's going to take some time. And we've already, I was talking to a good Navy SEAL buddy of mine, Navy SEAL. He said, dude, we've taken out 80% of their military capacity. Not bad in less than a month. So let the guy cook a little bit. So you also talk about, Dave, that, oh yeah, they had people out there pro-regime. Yeah, nobody's denying that 10 to maybe 20% max of the country is pro-regime. But what about the 80% of the country? That's like if Dave had a comedy show, there was 100 people that magically showed up to Dave's comedy show. Oh my God, he has so many fans. Dude, there's 100,000 people outside that didn't go to the show. I'm not being like brutish or sarcastic, but just you're taking a small sample size and extrapolating that for the entire country. We all know
just to be clear,
who this regime is.
Oh, hang on, Adam.
We all know that this is a terrorist regime.
Just to be technically correct on that argument you're making, if 100 people turned up to watch Dave's show, then technically over 8 billion chose not to.
Correct, and that's pretty uniform at this point.
This is really making me feel bad about my numbers on the road.
It doesn't necessarily mean that 8 billion people.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean there are 8 billion people who don't like Dave Smith.
I used to own a couple. No, it's fine.
Another thing, which shows that Dave Smith is a DEI hire, right? Tell me one funny joke that he said. People could find a funny joke that Eddie Murphy said from stand up. People will quote Eddie Murphy raw in 2026. Tell me one funny joke that Dave Smith has said. Even this little setup that he just did, it wasn't even funny. So he's going around purporting himself to be a comedian, just like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan allegedly is a comedian. What has Joe Rogan ever said that was funny? This is as DEI as it gets. This is as affirmative action as it gets. Piers loves inviting these people on to prop up their channels and make it appear as if they're more popular than they are. This is manufacturing consent, right? Imagine some dude said that they were a basketball player, but you never see them dunking or never see them doing anything basketball related. Like, bro, could you even make a 3-pointer? And now apparently he's doing these stand-ups around. I don't know who's paying to go see Dave Smith do stand-up. You know, clearly it's not a lot of people that look like me there, which is fine. He knows his core audience, but I just want to hear one joke. Even the people that you don't think is funny, whether it be Carlos Mencia, I remember they had that fat fluffy dude, Gabriel Iglesias or something. I seen he was just on Shannon Sharp, right? You know, you can say something of Cat Williams. People quote Cat Williams all the time. Even Kevin Hart, you know what I mean? People could say, okay, Kevin Hart had some funny stuff. Whether you think he's funny now or his movies are funny, people have seen that. What has Dave Smith ever said or done that was funny? Yet he's a comedian. Talk about DEI. Let's get back into it.
I mean, I actually do like Dave Smith. Let me tell you a Dave Smith story. I actually have respect for Dave Smith, but I really.
So hold on to that. He said he actually likes Dave Smith and he actually respects him. And Dave Smith is going to say, hey, man, I like you too, right? So this is how people in this community show how much they like and respect each other.
Realized who Dave Smith is. And I would say this to his face or on camera. Dave Smith is a radical libertarian. Don't take my word for it. You've said this multiple times. Have you not, Dave Smith?
Said what? That I'm a radical libertarian? Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yes. Okay, perfect. So when you're something, when you're radical, what's another word
I
for?
believe in? Well, what I believe in is true Americanism.
Radical? Extremist. Okay,
Yeah,
this is why you call
relative
America,
terms.
This is why you call. Sure, this is why you call the U.S. military the greatest terrorist organization on earth, right? Because you're a true American, because you're a true patriot. Is that why, Dave? Because something tells me you have what is known as clickbait of the mouth, and you're using these instances, these wars, to garner attention for you. You're calling, you have the American flag behind you, yet you have the hypocrisy of saying the United States military, United States is the greatest terror organization the world has ever seen. I mean, I don't understand what's going on here. This is why you're radical.
I didn't say.
So by the way,
well, I tell you what. Hang on. Just to be fair to Dave, let's replay what he actually said on this show, which caused all the furore, led by Ben Shapiro. We'll play what he said, and I'll play what Shapiro said about it, and then we'll come back to Dave for a response.
The IDF is the worst terrorist organization in the region. Let's get real. The United States of America is arguably the worst terrorist organization in the world. If you want to look over the last 25 years, how many innocent civilians we've slaughtered.
It doesn't matter, it turns out, how many times you appear on Joe Rogan's show or how many times you hide behind your title of comedian who holds the Guinness Book of World Records for fewest jokes told, or how many times you spew puerile analogies that demonstrate nothing but unbelievable, willful ignorance of the nature of war. I'm sorry, but you hate the country if you say America is the worst terrorist organization in the world. You just do. Now, I know that Dave Smith is super duper excited that his name was mentioned here. And he's sitting there shouting at his TV screen in his basement, "Debate me, bro!" To which I answer, nah. I don't debate with trolls who claim that America is the biggest terrorist state in the world because that is idiotic.
So here Ben Shapiro, who acts like he's supposed to be so intellectual. See, this why these people was cowardly. And as much as they always love to bring up IQs in the bell curve, it shows you how intellectually pathetic they are, but also insecure. See, many of these people are anti-black, right? So all you doing is go around either directly calling us niggers or supporting people that call us niggers, right? Putting out all sorts of propagandistic content to frame us as these savages, these low IQ monkeys and thuggish ruffians, right? Fine. Okay, we got to hold all of those tropes. So this should be a wet dream for your audience to bring a black person on, debate them, and destroy them. Notice they never do that. The only black people they bring on is bought and paid for tokens who's going to puppet and agree with them, who's going to be like a bobblehead saying yes to everything that they say. If we're so low IQ and dumb, put it on display. Savagely, intellectually destroy us on camera. Instead, most of these people, they have a podcast that's a monologue. All they do is look at the camera and talk about people. They don't talk to people, which is why they figured this out a long time ago. They used to have long form debates with people like Malcolm X, with people like James Baldwin, and other of our scholarly people. And once they would get destroyed, they said, we can't allow this. We can't signal boost this message. Not only that, it shows that, hey, these high IQs aren't so superior after all, because many of these people, they try to what I call degree thump, right? Hey, look, I got a bachelor's, I got a master's, and then they get destroyed in the debate. It looks pretty pathetic that you went to an Ivy League school and someone that's a high school dropout or didn't pursue any advanced education is able to walk the floor with you in a debate, right? They should be signed up. Man, I went to an Ivy League school. I'm taking on all comers, right? This is how we grew up. If you was dope and hoop, we'll go to any park. Who's the best person at your park? You feel me? Hey, let's play. You feel me? You said you the best. We'll come to your park and we can run it, right? They don't do that. All these people, they hate Jason Black. They hate Tariq Nasheed, Marcel Dixon, right? Terrain Walker, any of these people, even the low-level people. None of these cats won't smoke. And this includes Adam Sosnick. This includes Dave Smith. They'll go back and forth, and debate each other. They'll talk about black people, but they won't talk to black people. How pathetic is that, right? I don't mind. Hey, if you're a MAGA moron and a bigot, I'll debate you. If you're a racist Ku Klux Klan member, I'll debate you and I'll destroy you in a debate. I'm not just going to get on the platform and only talk about you and not be willing to talk to you. Many of you guys are just not intellectually formidable. This is why you have to devolve into slurs and unfounded truths. 1350 didn't do nothings and all this other type of stuff. Nah, you can't debate me on just the merits and the facts. People will get destroyed, which is why they don't debate. They're willing to debate each other because even if they bicker with each other, they'll still be on code. They won't go at the collective, right? They're not going to bring up white on white crime. They're not going to bring up Israel being a haven for some pedos, right? They're not going to bring this type of stuff up, but these people are Jewish, right? Both of these dudes are Jewish people, but they never talk about the Jewish context. They'll talk about Israel. They'll talk about Bibi Netanyahu and a conflict, but they'll talk about the whole black community. They'll try to psychoanalyze the black community, but won't psychoanalyze the community that they're from, which is the white community and the Jewish community. You don't hear that. All you hear is this surface level babble and bickering. But with us, they want to try to pretend as if they know us when they already said they don't live next to black people, and they go out of their way not to live next to black people. So you don't live next to black people. You don't talk to black people, yet you have all of these negative stereotypes because you read some stats or a meme that negatively portrayed black people in a disgusting light. Fine. It's a lot of negative, grotesque things that paint Jewish people in a disgusting light. So you can believe all the negative propaganda and we'll believe all the negative propaganda. Let's do it like that.
So Dave, as you know, that all blew up. A lot of debate raged about it. Clarify what you meant. Do you regret phrasing it the way you did? Just give us a bit more meat on the bone.
No, I don't regret phrasing it the way I did, and I'll be very clear about what I'm saying. I will point out that it's quite something for Ben Shapiro. Just since you played him, I got to respond to him first. Course. That he goes, "Oh, I just won't debate with this guy because this is so beyond the pale." Ben Shapiro made his name debating 19-year-old communist Maoists who were confused about their gender. So somehow, Pierce, we're going to have to believe here that I'm so much less serious than the children who Ben Shapiro made a career debating. I loved.
And that was another pathetic thing. Not only was Ben the Bozo Shapiro doing it, Charlie Kirk, the late Charlie Kirk, was doing that, right? All these negative stereotypes about black people, then they go to a college campus and they debate non-black people or a specific demographic of black people, right? With lies and tropes and all sorts of illogical fallacies, right? I mean, what is brave or courageous about that, right? If you were an NBA player, but every time you went to an open gym, you avoided the NBA professional open gyms, but you went to go play the G Leaguers, the college kids and the high schoolers. I mean, what is there to respect about that? Ben Shapiro and all of these other people, they consider themselves to be high level debaters. They consider themselves to be intellectuals. However, they're going and debating college kids who are still wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac, living with a mommy and daddy, right? You want to go debate them. You consider yourself a big dog, but you want to go fight with the puppies. How pathetic and cowardly could you be?
Your response to him where you pointed out some of the goofy segments that he does on his show. I mean, personally, I really stay away from that stuff. And, for Adam, I think to say it's clickbait or that I just want to get out in front of the camera, I think we're all equally in front of a camera right now. And it's kind of weird to accuse someone else. I very much believe the things I'm saying.
Dave,
now, to Adam's point,
Dave, don't run from the comment. Don't run from your comment.
I'm trying to
address
get to
the
it, but there's a
comment,
lot
not Ben
here.
Shapiro, would you?
Well,
good.
Yes,
let's go. Wrap it up.
No, I'm going to make the points I want to make.
You called the United States military.
You're just slowing. Okay, so
you called the United States military the greatest terror organization in the world.
Adam,
defend.
Just let me answer. No problem. I'm going to go back to the order.
Go for it.
I mean, they seem like they're bickering back and forth like little schoolgirls. Does this seem like impulse control? Does this look and sound like high IQ behavior?
Going to Adam's point, when Adam says I'm a radical libertarian and I say that this is true Americanism, I mean, look, my favorite founding father is Thomas Paine. Not everyone considers him a founding father. And maybe I love him so much because he never held a government position and didn't own slaves, which I thought was pretty cool. But Benjamin Franklin said he was the most.
So he says that he thinks that this dude not owning slaves was pretty cool. But then asks him, okay, if you think that the person who didn't own slaves was pretty cool, what do you think about the people who did own slaves? Then he has nothing to say, right? So clearly they would be uncool. And if they're uncool, what would that mean? That they're bad? That they're somehow wrong, immoral? That's what's implied, but he won't say that. And that's what I'm saying, because Dave Smith, he hates black people, you know what I mean? But he uses these issues as if he's standing up for the Palestinians to give him some sort of moral righteousness. And he's standing up. And you notice that they always stand up for some foreign entity and a foreign demographic because it won't change the racial stratification here. It won't change the socioeconomic conditions here. So this is why I call it the Gaza grift. Candace Owens is engaged in it. I've seen TYT engaged in it. Dave Smith and many others, right? Glenn Lowry, just all sorts of Tethers, Sambos, and Stooges have come out of the work. Suddenly they see the humanity, but it's only for Gaza, right? They see the atrocities happening in Gaza, but they don't give a damn about the conditions are worse in the Congo, right? They don't care that Sudan has what's reported the largest humanitarian crisis in the world, surpassing Gaza. They allege that 70,000 people were slaughtered in Gaza. I know the numbers are closer to 100K, but let's just go with the 70K, right? It's reported that over 1 million people in the Sudan is facing food insecurity and famine, and over 1 million of them could die from starvation. What's the bigger number, 100,000 or 1 million? And I'm not saying that, hey, you need to create a hierarchy of oppression, but isn't that what people are doing? Right? They're saying what's going on in Gaza is so bad that you shouldn't even worry about it, right? Doesn't matter if you're homeless in America. You're privileged if you're homeless in America. Doesn't matter if your school is failing. Well, Gaza, their schools were blown up. So you're privileged to even have a dilapidated building. So you have, the way some frame it, you can't even advocate for yourself because some other distant, foreign, underdeveloped place has it worse. They all the time, they call Chicago Chirac, comparing it to Iraq, saying that it's like a literal war zone. They say, what about Chicago? What about Oakland, St. Louis, Baltimore, etc., implying that the conditions in these places are so horrendous that it's like a war zone. It's a nightmare for people to live in. And when people say, you know what, it's true, this is a war zone, it's a nightmare, how are you going to help the people living here? Well, Chicago is a war zone, and how we're going to help Chicago is we're going to go to Tijuana. They're fleeing gang violence in Tijuana, so we're going to bring some people from Mexico and drop them in Chicago. That will help, right? Huh? How does that help exactly? Oh, you guys have a gang problem, so we'll just bring another gang. Have you heard of Tren de Aragua from Venezuela? Yeah, we'll bring them over here because they're fleeing persecution. So how is any of this stuff helping? It doesn't. It's not designed to help. It's designed to create a convoluted mess so that you can say, hey, look, vote me into office so I can come clean up the mess that some other politician left.
Consequentialist and the one person most responsible for the United States of America existing. His famous pamphlet that he wrote was called Common Sense. And I think on the first or second line of it, he says, government is at best a necessary evil. So at best, he's like, this is clearly on the anarchist to night watchman state spectrum was what true Americanism was when it started. Now, for me to say what I made the point, and I've made this point a million times on your show, Pierce, I was saying when people come on and say Iran is the biggest state sponsor of terrorism, well, just like give me an objective definition of what terrorism means, and then let's apply that standard universally. And if you're going to sit here and say, look, America has given billions, tens of billions of dollars to the IDF in the last few years. We've also, by the way, given a lot of weapons and money here. Your first guest on this show there, the head of the Obama deep state, was using Al-Qaeda, bin Ladenite head choppers on the ground in Libya and in Syria. And yes, Adam, I would also consider it when our politicians lie us into wars that slaughter millions of innocent people and in many cases target those innocent people. I consider that terrorism as well. There's the answer, Adam. And if you want to keep doing this, buddy, you could tell me to check the scoreboard. I'll run circles around you on this, dude. Check the scoreboard. Most unpopular war in American history going in. Check the scoreboard. 13 dead Americans and 150 plus other wounded. Thousands of innocents, including little schoolgirls in Iran, killed. Dead innocent Israelis. Hundreds of dead innocent people in Lebanon. Millions of innocent people being displaced, all at the cost of tens of billions of dollars and destroying Trump's coalition. Check your scoreboard, Adam. How's it looking for you?
Okay, Dave.
And you know, in the words of the late great Tupac, they got money for war but can't feed the poor. You niggers don't deserve reparations, and we don't have the money anyways, but suddenly they magically have the money for war to slaughter people. It's estimated to cost at minimum $1 billion a day. What could you do with what could you do with 1% of that? Right? Now, Pete Hegseth and the Department of War is saying, you know what? We need $200 billion to continue this war. How is this America first again? Think about your neighborhoods, right? How many roads could be paved? How many schools could be revamped? How many programs so that we can invest in our youth? but instead they want your youth with the mentality of, hey, you may be sent to go fight a war in the Middle East that doesn't help you. They love to keep these neighborhoods destabilized, disenfranchised, and desolate, because then they can come to the poor kids, because they ain't gonna go to no kids with a silver spoon, and they can dangle, hey, look, man, you kids are poor and you don't want to be dealing with this crime and dilapidated buildings. Join the army so you can go fight some pointless wars, for the oligarchy, right? And hey, we'll give you interest-free loans when you want to start a house, and we'll give you perks, and you'll have the prestige of being, in the military. So when you go into a store in a Walmart, someone will say, thank you for your service, right? But how much is the average military person getting? Some people are working at In-N-Out Burger and making more than people in the military. Some are making more than people in the military. What is a more important job for society? Military people or someone flipping burgers? And I'm not disparaging anyone that flips burgers, because people got to eat, right? But I mean, if you're coming up, even if you from the hood, and I'm like, I may get deployed to some foreign land, they can just tell me what to do, when to do it. You have to look a certain way. You have to follow this certain code, which I'm not saying is inherently a bad thing. But others, especially the young people, it's like, man, I can just become a TikTok star. Whether that's true or not, they believe that it's true. Just like you believe in the Bible, they believe in themselves that they can become a TikTok star. Some people love In-N-Out Burger, so they like dodging bullets or dodging French fries. You know what I mean? Yep, I'm gonna work at In-N-Out Burger. So if you really want people to join the military, you definitely need to up the pay, because the people who are getting their pay increased are these military industrial complex cronies, right? Who are invested into the stock market, i.e. Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, all of these other people, right? These are the people who are fueling the military industrial complex. So a few companies get richer, while the soldiers, who are going to be the ones who have to use those weapons, they're getting crumbs, and in some cases half of a crumbs, but because they get some social benefits and prestige of being a military person, some people are willing to sign up. And this is another reason why they had an influx of immigrants, particularly male immigrants, because it's dangled that now they want to recruit a bunch of those immigrants, and they want to give them a quicker pathway to citizenship. Hey, look, you don't want to go back to your shithole country, so go fight this war in Israel, you know what I mean? And if you make it out alive, when you get back, we'll fast track you to citizenship. At the very least, you'll have temporary protected status to be a legal permanent residence, and you can own a home and all this other type of stuff. So look for that. Don't take my word for it. Just look all of this stuff up.
Okay, it's not working well for you, Dave, because
substantively
you're
respond
still
to any
saying
of that,
that
Adam.
United States. You're saying the United States is a terrorist organization. You've already lost the debate. You live in America, tough guy. You have the luxury.
And salute to Veronica John. She says she'll subscribe. You enjoyed as well. I enjoy you being here. You could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me, at least momentarily. And for that, I thank you. I do have a goal that I'm trying to reach of 1,000 subs. So help your boy reach that. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It won't cost you a fee. The likes are free. And I've been joined by an illustrious guest, the illest Israelite walking on 2 feet, the Big C in the building. What up, Travion?
Of sitting in your little studio with your hooded sweater like you're 17 years old. The regime. Do you mean all American presidents?
I'm 17
Who's your favorite
years old?
president in the last 50 years?
Adam, I'm 17 years old.
Who's your favorite president in the last 50
I have
years?
a wife and children. Who depends on you, Adam? Your mom?
Okay, I also have
if you want to make it personal.
Uh-oh. I mean, does this sound like two people who like each other? Both of them were like, hey, buddy, I like you. I respect you. Now they're going kind of low blow. So, oh, you want to talk about mamas, huh? Okay. Did he go there or did he go there? And just to recap, these are two white Jewish people going in on each other. Jewish on Jewish conflict. Let's get into it. This is appalling.
Organization. You've already lost the debate. You live in America, tough guy. You have the luxury of sitting in your little studio with your hooded sweater like you're 17 years old. The regime. You mean all American president?
I'm 17 years old.
So again, he's saying, you live in America, tough guy. Okay, newsflash. We know that. Bro, you're not tough either. And you can see that he has this little America pin. What is that like to make him seem so patriotic? And what is with this thing? See, I grew up where if you gonna put on a suit and you come suited, you wear a friggin' tie. Where did this style come from? I get it that sometimes there's some instances and some ensembles that maybe you don't want to wear a tie, but bruh, if you gonna be suited and booted, really be suited. See, where is Dapper Dan when you need him? You know what I mean? And this is the difference, bruh. We are the true sauce. We are the true culture and the style and the pulse, right? If you seen a brother on there, he would have been sprayed, laid, and heavily paid. You would have seen the tailored suit. You would have seen the shirt would have been buttoned to the top with a nice crispy tie. That would have added the finishing touches. He could have even had a bow tie. I'm not a big bow tie guy, but maybe I may start rocking the bow tie a little bit more and some suspenders as well. Y'all let me know, like, is this the new style going forward? Like, if I wear a suit, I'm suited and booted. It ain't suited and sneakered. People be having suits with no tie and sneakers like Air Force Ones and Jordans with a suit. I don't know, bro. I just can't get into that. Now, I get it may be more comfortable, but in terms of style and debonair, hit and a miss.
President in the last 50 years.
Adam, I'm 17 years old.
Who's your favorite president in the last 50 years?
I have a wife and children. Who depends on you, Adam? Your mom?
And we've been joined by an illustrious guest, Tara Sanchez. Hola, amiga, ¿cómo está? In building.
Okay, I also have.
If you want to make it personal,
so you want to go personal?
You have a significant other.
We can go as personal as we can go.
No, I'm trying not to.
We can go as personal as you want.
Respond to one thing.
I don't care, Dave.
Adam, some substance.
I don't care.
I know, because you don't know anything.
Dave, you're a radical.
So move on. So stop picking a fight with me, dude. You don't know anything about anything. You're Pat.
And this where it shows how kind of phony Dave Smith is. He said that this dude, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything about anything, but yet Dave Smith was following him and says he likes him. Why would you like someone who doesn't know anything about anything? He's pretty much saying that this dude is a stumbling, bumbling imbecile. What is there to like about that, right? He's taking shots at you. Clearly, these dudes ain't besties, but in the beginning of the show, they were pretending, hey, we like each other and we respect each other. And now they're just kind of balls to the wall, gloves off, talking about mamas and all sorts of, apparel and stuff. It's like, come on, bruh. You guys know you don't like each other, and that's fine. Just stop pretending that you do. This whole buddy routine was juvenile and quite pathetic.
In Iran, killed, dead innocent Israelis, hundreds of dead innocent people in Lebanon, millions of innocent people being displaced, all at the cost of tens of billions of dollars and destroying Trump's coalition. Check your scoreboard, Adam. How's it looking for you?
Okay, Dave. So, okay, it's not working well for you, Dave, because
substantively
you're
respond
still
to any
saying
of that,
that
Adam.
United States. You're saying the United States is a terrorist organization. You've already lost the debate. You live in America, tough guy. You have the luxury of sitting in your little studio with your hooded sweater like you're 17 years old. The regime. You mean all American presidents?
I'm 17
Who's your favorite president in the last 50 years?
Adam, I'm 17 years old.
Who's your favorite president in the last 50
I have a wife and children. Who depends on you, Adam? Your mom?
Okay, I also have
if you want to make it personal,
other, so you want to go personal?
You have a significant other.
We can go as personal as we can go.
No, I'm trying not to.
We can go as personal as you want.
Respond to one thing.
I don't care, Dave.
Adam, some substance.
I don't care.
I know because you don't know anything.
Dave, you're a radical.
So move on. So stop picking a fight with me, dude. You don't know anything about anything. You're Pat's guy.
I know.
I like you, dude. I like you.
Here's
I like
what I
your
will tell
show.
you.
I respect Pat.
Dave. Okay. Zay, zip it. Here we go. I'll talk now for a second. I'm defending the military right now. You're basically saying that all our boys that go to the military are all terrorists. That's what you're saying.
No.
You're equating that the United States of America, the IDF, are the equivalent of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. By the way, I also used to respect you until you went on a little podcast called Coleman Hughes. What happened on that podcast, Dave? This is the problem. I'll tell you a quick story.
Why don't you do it right now, Adam? Why don't you do it?
I'll do it right now, Dave. I'll do it right now. Because here's what Dave is. Here's Dave Smith. By the way, 1% of Americans vote for libertarians every year. So you're trying to basically say that you know more than the average American. 1% of Americans vote for your people, Dave. Why don't you run for something? Why don't you stand for something? You stand for nothing.
Okay, can I respond? Again, Pierce, this is the level of substance.
No. Here we go. I'm going to tell you a story, Dave, and then you can respond. Because this is where I lost respect for you as a debater. Because I was like, oh, this guy, Dave, he actually knows some stuff. He's doing his thing. And then you showed up on Coleman Hughes' podcast. Pierce, do you know who Coleman Hughes is?
I do. He's been on the show.
I've been on the show with him.
Perfect. That's this guy right here, just in case, if the camera doesn't see.
But what is the point you're making?
I watched this podcast. The point is this. Dave gets out there and he tries to bully people and say that he's so smart. He reads a lot of books. Good for you, Dave. But what happens when you read it to somebody, run into somebody who's way smarter and bullies the bully? I remember growing up in this town of Miami. So it was this kid that used to pick on all the kids that we went to school with. And one day some new kid showed up and he goes, oh, yeah. Let's go, buddy. Let's do this. And the bully goes, oh, what do you mean?
What is with this dude and these stories? This is babbling incoherently, right? I can see if you have an anecdote and he's trying to tie it to the story, but it's like, bruh, it's just not landing. Does anyone listen to this dude and hear and think that he's articulate, eloquent, or has a high IQ? Does anyone listen to this dude and think that, oh my God, he has so much charm and charisma? This is the quintessential DEI hire, affirmative action, baby.
Want to do? And he goes, no, yeah, you want to fight everybody? You want to take everybody's lunch? Let's go. And the new kid beat the crap out of the bully. And here's what happened with Dave. He's out there just doing his little podcast thing, debating, like you said, Ben Shapiro, 19-year-olds. And then all of a sudden, this whole conversation about Wesley Clark, and I saw him on your podcast about a week ago, Pierce, and this memo, here you go, Dave. Remember this memo from Wesley Clark that you used to cite everything?
This is adorable.
That you used to cite, yeah, that is adorable because your whole foundation is based on some memo.
Well, I'm not quite sure what, Adam, I'm not quite sure what is the point you're making.
The point is this, Dave has zero credit.
Even Piers Morgan, who is the resident bigot, is like, bro, what point are you making? And like Last Call says, dude just wants to talk. And this dude is a white Jewish dude who purports himself to be a high IQ. Does anyone think that this dude is some master debater or some intellectual savant? All he is a stooge and a puppet. And why would Patrick Bet-David, who was a successful millionaire, why would he want this dude on his show? Nothing he says is of substance. His name is Adam Sosnick, but the dude has no sauce at all.
Credibility at this point. Dave has zero credibility.
Well, you don't really get to decide. And he ran into somebody
that completely bullied. What audience? The four people that show up to your comedy show at the
Yeah. Okay, Dave, you respond.
Okay. Can I respond?
Once again, at the beginning of the show, both of these people said that they like each other and respect each other. Does this sound? Do you talk to people that you like and respect like this?
Well, now because I listened while
I mean, the question I'd ask you, Dave. The question I'd ask you,
well,
Dave, is the way that you're.
Well, let me respond to some of that.
I
Pierce.
will,
I mean,
yeah.
this-
But I just want to ask you, just on a general level.
How are you going to respond to what Coleman Hughes did to you? There was like a body bag after that debate.
Let him respond.
Well, you ain't doing nothing,
Go
bro.
for it.
You're sitting here talking about what another man did.
You've already been in a body bag, Dave. I'm here to clean up the scraps.
Okay, let me just ask Dave this, which is, as you know, the comment you made.
Yeah, this dude is becoming insufferable, so I'm about to transition into the next story. So what he brings up is says that, Dave, you got destroyed in this debate with Coleman Hughes. Now, Coleman Hughes is another character. This dude is a buck broken, buffoonish Zionist. His name is Coleman Hughes, but he's a tether. The reason why he's a tether is because he's a melanated person that comes from an immigrant background, and he tries to tether on to blackness when it's convenient, right? He identifies as an Afro-Latino, so really he's kind of leans into the Latino part, but the Latinos look at him and like, no, you're negrito, you're a nigga, you're a pinche mayate, right? That's how they look at him. So his name really is Coleman Hughes Cruz. His real name is Coleman Cruz, but he dropped the Cruz and put Hughes. Everybody that you know, whether it's Martin Guerrero Lopez, right? They say it all. My name is Martin Guerrero Lopez. His name is Coleman Hughes Cruz. Why'd he drop the Cruz? Cruz sounds Latino. Hughes sounds more black, right? Even though there are some black people that may have a Spanish last name. I know people with Spanish last name because there's no race called Latino or Hispanic. You know what I mean? So there are many black people with names like Sanchez, Lopez, and other names, whether you think it's common or not. You know what I mean? But yeah, Coleman Hughes, his name is Coleman Hughes Cruz, and he dropped the Cruz so that he can try to wag his finger at black people. It's like, nah, bro, you said you're Afro-Latino. Nigga, go talk to the Latino community. But I just want to put that in context. So Adam Sosnick is over here saying, Coleman Cruz put you in a body bag. Okay, bruh. If one person did that, and like Dave Smith is saying, like you over here, like what I call GAP, glazing and praising another dude off of his debate performance. If you watch that debate, he should be able to pick up some of the tips or some of the talking points from Coleman and then implement him in this debate. Instead, he's like, I'm just here to pick up the pieces. You've been in a body bag. It's like, come on, bruh. This dude is not witty. He's not charismatic. He's not funny. And he's not smart. So why is PBD and all of these millionaires and top tier platforms inviting them on? I would have to say affirmative action and DEI. There's no other way to explain it. So when they always say DEI and they try to paint black people as the mascot, most white women have benefited from DEI and most white people in general, because white men benefit from DEI as well. So yeah, a bunch of DEI affirmative action hires on the screen whining to each other.
Saw him on your podcast about a week ago, Pierce, and this memo, here you go, Dave. Remember this memo from Wesley Clark that you used to cite everything?
This is
that
adorable.
you used to cite. Yeah, that is adorable,
Okay.
because your whole
when do I get to
foundation is
respond?
based on some memo.
Well, I'm not quite sure what,
memo.
Adam, I'm not quite sure what is the point you're making.
The point is this: Dave has zero credibility at this point. Dave has zero credibility.
Well, you
at
don't
this
really
point.
get to decide
and he
that.
ran
You know, the
into
people, the
somebody
audience gets
that
to decide
completely
that.
bullied.
I mean, Dave doesn't really have any credibility with me because he's anti-black. He's a bigot and a bozo. But, you know, he is destroying this dude in a debate. This isn't even really a debate. This is just like, you know, two schoolgirls whining back and forth. This is all this really is. But when he talks about credibility, what credibility does Adam have and with who? I know Dave Smith at least has some credibility with some demographics, not with me. But who is supporting Adam Sosnick?
What audience?
Okay.
The four
Well,
people that show up to your comedy show at the ha.
Yeah. Okay, Dave. You,
Yes, like Tara says, clowns. Welcome to the circus. Clowns meaning plural, not a clown, not singular. Clowns. Welcome to the circus. Barnum and Bailey or Barnum and Bozos?
Dave, you respond.
Okay. Can I respond now? Because I listened while
I mean,
you
the
said
question I'd
nothing
ask
there.
you, Dave. The question I'd ask you, Dave, is the way that you're.
Well, let me respond to some of that.
I
Pierce.
will,
mean,
yeah.
this-
But I just want to ask you, just on a general level,
How are you going to respond to what Coleman Hills did to you? There was like a body bag after that debate.
Let him respond.
Well, you ain't doing nothing,
Go for
bro.
it.
You're sitting here talking about what another man did.
You've already been in a body
Anyway.
bag, Dave. I'm here to clean up the
Okay.
scraps.
Okay, let me just ask Dave this, which is, as you know, the comment you made about America being a terrorist state and so on, that went pretty viral. Do you understand why a lot of people got very angry about the perceived equivalence between America and terror organizations like ISIS, like Al Qaeda, and so on?
Yeah, no, well, listen, I mean, there's no question that the head
I don't think he does, but go ahead.
Hey, Adam, I mean, just let me talk now. I understand all you can do here is interrupt and hold up props
Go
or
ahead.
something, but let me make a few good points.
I'm just, you said that America's a
I
terrorist
know.
organization. You've already lost the debate. Go ahead.
No, I haven't actually, and that's not, you don't really get to decide in the middle of the debate whether I have. It's who moves people more than the other one is really, I guess, the metric. But
You're 1% libertarian. You're really moving people. You're really moving people.
I mean, Adam, I understand this will just be your tactic for the rest of it because you're out of.
This seems like low impulse control. Why is bro keep interrupting? Let the man talk. If this was a debate, let him say his piece, and then you can contest what he said. Why are you cutting people off? There's nothing manly or masculine about that.
And you're just out of your depth. But here, okay, yes, actually, I didn't vote for the Libertarian nominee.
Go ahead,
Donald
buddy.
Trump came to the Libertarian Party convention and tried to convince a lot of us to support him, and I'm one of the people who did, and now I'm one of the people who's criticizing this policy. Now, in terms of, obviously, Pierce, it's a provocative statement. I know that when I make it, and I'm not claiming that the American military men are the equivalent of ISIS or Al-Qaeda.
I do respect the fact that Dave does show up.
He does.
I mean, that's like, okay, cool. You showed up. Respect to that. I will give Dave credit. But Dave, and this is why I'm going to keep going back to this, to pretend that it was an even match, an even debate, he put you in a body bag and you're out here still doubling down on all your positions when he went methodically and surgically.
This is the saddest thing. I've never been in a debate where someone just fell back to someone else's debate. Boom, boom, boom. Name one of the booms. Make the point for yourself. Me and you.
Yeah, this is, I think I'm going to have to shut it down. I'm going to play like a couple more minutes and shut it down because now he's supposed to be debating Dave and he's over here obsessing over what another man did. Oh my God, he put you in a body bag. Okay, if he put him in a body bag, why aren't you using those same talking points to put Dave in a body bag? Instead, he's just praising and glazing another man. How pathetic is that? If we're in a fight and I'm saying, yeah, bro, the last dude you fought knocked you out, but you're fighting me right now. Yeah, but man, the last dude, he knocked you out. Yeah, bro, but I'm finna come at you right now, bro. Let's fight. Yeah, but the last dude, he knocked you out. Like, that's how stupid it sounds. You're lined up to fight another person. Why are you talking about someone's previous fight? You know what I mean? It's like, bruh, if you don't want the smoke or you're just not formidable, just say that, bruh.
You are supposed to be debating here, brother.
The memo from
Say
Wesley
something.
Clark. The memo from Wesley Clark. Your
So
whole
what's your point?
foundation for your
No, it's
Israel.
not.
So listen up, little guy. So
Make
your
the
whole
point.
foundation
Little
for
guy.
Israel dragging America into war was that this memo from Wesley Clark showed up, and that's the reason that America got suckered into the Iraq war because Israel convinced him to do it. And he went and surgically and methodically and very calmly was like, Dave, you don't know what you're talking about. Your entire foundation crumbled. And you're dipping,
so
you're
let's
doing
make-
your little
can
thing
I respond?
where you're drinking your
Can I
nicotine.
respond to this?
So, but the point is this, Your Holland's
Man,
Opus,
you are
this
real.
3-hour debate with Coleman Hughes. It wasn't close, Dave. And that's fine. You want to sort of be revisionist.
That's your opinion.
And say, you know
No,
what?
I'm not being revisionist.
We went point for point. No, Dave, that was any person with logic, because you didn't have a response. Your only response was,
this is so
read the
ridiculous,
book.
dude.
Adam, it is an unusual position to spend.
It's not ridiculous.
Adam, it's an unusual position that I've had you guys
because
on.
that was the
you guys
aha
on
moment
to
for
debate,
me.
and so far,
where I said this guy is actually a lightweight.
Adam,
he's actually a lightweight.
Adam,
well, this is that moment for you for a lot of people, Adam. So congratulations.
All right, that's enough of that. These people were insufferable, but y'all seen that Adam Sosnick got put in a body bag. That was white on white conflict, Jew on Jew disputes. And we've been joined by an illustrious guest, Sincere Saida, in building. What did it do? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and transition to this next story. These I'm gonna have to kind of speed up because I do have a prior engagement. I have to go film a sporting event, so I'm gonna go do that. But I might come back and hit y'all with a double header, depend on how y'all respond to this. And she said she liked the background. That's what's up, because I actually was just about to change it. Bada boom, bada bam. Hopefully you like that one too. Salute to Sincere, and I like your background. I like the music you curate. Y'all go support Sincere Saida. She is always doing her thing over there on her channel. So salute to her. And let me get into this next video. She said, let's go. Yeah, so go over there after this stream, of course, and support Sincere. Now, I don't know if she has a schedule. Most of her streams are like me, impromptu streams until I come back with another one. So today I had a little bit of time, so I want to tap in with the family. So before I get into this discussion, right, y'all know that there has been ICE agents roaming the streets. And there's been a lot of hoopla around Black Americans, specifically foundational Black Americans becoming ICE agents. Huh? ICE is just another law enforcement, right? So we know that they're Black cops. We know that they're Black TSA agents. We know that there's Black people, Border Patrol, but we are the least amount of people, right? The majority of the Border Patrol are Latino. The majority of ICE agents are Latino. So we are the least represented group in ICE. And then when some people say, you know what, I'm going to apply for ICE, I need to pay my bills, there is a contingent of people that are trying to shame them. So hold on. There were Latinos saying, I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. They were saying that, right? Even though Donald Trump said they're not sending their best. They're sending drugs, crime, rape. Like he said a lot of stuff, right? And still, I will vote for Donald Trump, right? They still said that. So this is what they voted for. He said that he was going to do deportations, and they still said, I will vote for him, right? So if this is what they voted for, what is the issue with Black Americans becoming ICE agents? Right now, people are looking for a career path. People are looking for a way to have a level of sustenance for their family so that their bills are paid, that they can put food on the table. And if ICE is putting out hiring bonuses and things like that, why are people being shamed? Others are not being shamed, right? There's a very quiet contingent that will shame some Latinos, but most of the ire and vitriol is towards Black Americans. Why is that exactly? Let's get into it.
ICE is in the airports now, and the reason why the ICE is in the airports is because Trump said he wanted to make sure to get ICE out there to help out TSA. But people are saying and reporting that ICE isn't out there helping TSA at all. They're out there just doing what they normally do. People are very upset with ICE. Well, the issue for me today isn't about ICE. That's this particular black woman that takes issue with black people being ICE.
And before, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out Ricky Williams, 9343 in building, says B-Eazy, the #1 creator. I do sincerely appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Thanks a lot, Ricky Williams. Salute to you. The documented, my lord, the documented, naturalized, undocumented, and birthright citizens of the United Plantations of America are blaming FBA for everything. Yeah, unfortunately, we have been the scapegoats. You know, I may have to do a segment that everyone hates FBA, because they're specifically targeting FBA people that have chose to embrace their American lineage and put a stamp and a title on it, right? See, many people, they don't say this about African Americans, because who the hell are you talking about when you say African American? They're not saying this about Israelites. They're not saying about this about people who identify as Moors. They're only saying this about foundational Black Americans. So there's a concerted effort and a push to demonize and disparage us. And all we're doing is just saying, hey, look, we don't want to be called this, we want to be called this, because we have a unique and distinct lineage. That's it. Nobody is saying because my lineage is distinct and different from yours, that means I'm better. But many other people, they believe that we're better, which is why they attack us and give us certain levels of vitriol. But it's like, bro, we have been the ones uniting with everyone. We have been inviting everyone to the cookout. We're not invited to any bar mitzvahs. We don't get invited to fiestas. We just don't. But everyone could come to the cookout. Now, some people said those cookout invitations are postponed indefinitely, and some say permanently. But it doesn't matter. Our culture, we say, hey, look, we're humanitarians. We don't mind sharing our culture with anyone and everyone. What's happened is that everyone has seen us as society's political doormat that you can just step on dog poo. You have your own doormat, but hey, go wipe it over on the Black doormat, right? Hey, you know, they frame things as, hey, we have to help marginalized groups, people of color, underserved groups. And we have been the ones upholding the values of civil rights. We have been the ones fighting for everyone. And all of these other groups, whether it be various Latino groups, whether it be African and Caribbean groups, they all come over here, and part anti-Blackness is as American as apple pie. So part of the assimilation process is to come over here and crap on FBAs. You have to show your complete and utter disdain for us to know that, hey, you're on team W supremacy, right? They don't believe you unless you make a showing, a good faith showing of how anti-Black that you are. So Tara says they may be trying to slowly replace TSA with ICE. It's possible. It's nothing would shock me with this administration. And this administration, like we have been telling people, right? We don't want a police state. But others were saying, hey, if you don't do crimes, you have nothing to worry about. Now you have ICE violating people's right. And then they're saying, where are the Blacks? You guys know how it feels to be mass incarcerated or harassed. It's like, yeah, we do. And we tried to tell y'all this. And guess what y'all said? We said, hey, don't vote for him because he's going to, even though I thought it was an exaggeration, but people were saying, don't vote for Trump. He's going to bring back Jim Crow. Joe Biden said he going to put y'all back in chains. Like, a lot of people were putting warnings. And guess what? Many people said, I will vote for Donald Trump. So it's like, you voted for this. So it's like, the sympathy can only go so far.
Agents. And I have an opinion about that, but let's go ahead and check that out.
This is what we mean when we say all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Because y'all, ICE agents don't have their mask on in the airports today. And the amount of black and brown ICE agents I've seen, Lord. Exhibit B, Exhibit C right here. Like, I know things.
So what, only white people are supposed to be ICE agents? Like, what is she saying and what point is she attempting to make, right? And I don't know why they're pretending as if ICE is just this rogue agency. ICE is immigration enforcement. Any time you hear the word enforcement, that means they are some type of police. ICE is just the immigration police. Even now, and this was even under Biden, he gave the IRS people, he armed them. So many IRS agents can come to your house armed. They are an enforcement arm. Border Patrol, why do you think they have guns and weaponry? Because they're a law enforcement arm. And people know what law enforcement is about. And notice no one is even talking about police brutality. No one is talking about due process. They're only talking about due process as it pertains to ICE. If you think that ICE is a rogue agency, what do you think the cops are? ICE is wearing masks. Have you ever heard of a jump out boy? The jump out boys are plainclothes officers that jump out. Most of them, they're not brandishing a badge. Many of them have masks. They've always been doing this. That's why they call the jump out boy. They can jump out on you anytime. You don't always know if they're a cop. There's been instances, especially in the Bay Area, where people get fake police cars and then they pull people over. So just because someone does have a badge or is showing their face doesn't mean that they're actual enforcement as well. So I'm not for being overly policed or overly harassed, but these are things that we've been warning about. They try to say that ICE is discriminating against people, but these same people, the same I will vote for Donald Trump Latinos, the same lefty and liberal lunatics, the same MAGA morons, they didn't have any issue with stop and frisk. Guess what stop and frisk is? Look at that nigga over there. We gonna stop him and we gonna frisk him. They can do a cavity search if they want, right? What could stop them? Oh, we suspect that you have drugs, so spread your cheeks and let's do a search. Don't worry, we'll put on gloves when we do it. What is stopping them? Oh, my bad, we did a cavity search. We suspected drugs, right? This is what stop and frisk is. But they're saying that this is, this is supposed to be somehow different than stopping and detaining people and saying, hey, bro, like, are you supposed to be from here? Where's your paperwork? I'm not saying one or the other is good. I'm just saying, why are we pretending as if we've never seen this before? What country are we living in? The same country that was doing stop and frisk that disproportionately stopped black people. And they were stopping many Latinos too. The I will vote for Donald Trump, they were stopping y'all too. But disproportionately, they were stopping black people. They stopped white people at a lower rate, but guess when they found most of the paraphernalia on the white people that they stopped at a lower rate. They said over 80, and I'm being moderate with the numbers. I believe the numbers are even higher, closer to 90%, but they said over 80% of the stops of black people didn't even yield anything, just except for harassment. They can say, oh, look at this person, he's sagging. And look, hey, I don't sag my pants, but when you were younger, people did that, right? Is sagging your pants really grounds for you to be stopped, thrown up against the wall, and then they fill you down? They'll grab your nuts and grab your dick and say, oh, look, I thought you had something there. There's videos of dudes, they grabbing the dick and saying, oh, what you got in your pants there, son? It's like, damn, bro, that's my Johnson. Oh, my bad. It's like, were you just trying to cop a feel or what? There's multiple stories of women saying that, right? Requesting women officers because the man wants to check something and she got a big old booty, so she might be hiding some in them cheeks, right? She might be hiding some in them voluptuous breastises, right? So the cop could check based on him suspecting that you did something. Did we forget about stop and frisk that is still going on? Okay.
Things are rough, but out of all of the government jobs that y'all could get as people of color, y'all couldn't pick something else.
Here we go again. People of color. Like, who the hell is she talking about? You gotta retire that goofy term. Like, the people of color said, I will vote for Donald Trump. So why are we trying to frame as if we're all some united group? When people say people of color, what they mean is non-white. Non-white is better than saying people of color. People of color is presuming that everyone is identifying by a color. Asians are considered yellow, but is every Asian yellow? Was every ethnicity of Asian considered yellow? And tell me, what yellow Asian have you seen? So if they're not yellow and don't identify as yellow, what color are they? So why are you calling them a person of color when they don't identify? People have nation states to identify. I'm Japanese, I'm Korean, I'm Filipino, I'm Cambodian. They're not saying I'm yellow. So why are you calling them a person of color again?
I don't know. It's not doing it for me.
So clearly this young black woman takes issue with black people.
I don't know. It's not doing it for me. Exhibit C right here. Like, I know things are rough, but out of all of the government jobs that y'all could get as people of color, y'all couldn't pick something else. I don't know. It's not doing it for me.
So clearly this young black woman takes issue with black people being ICE agents. Well, why would you take issue with them being ICE agents? What are they doing to black people? I haven't seen ICE round up a bunch of black people. Now, they have rounded up some people from the diaspora who were here illegally, or their paperwork wasn't right. But let's call it what it is. The ones who's out here taking lives is the white ICE agents, or the ones, even the Hispanic ones. It's not the black ones. What is wrong with black people being part of ICE? Trump and them giving a big bonus right now. Well, what's wrong with that? If a black American want to get an ICE job, he should be able to get one, or she should be able to get one. What have those black ICE agents done? From the pictures you're showing, they aren't doing anything, but they're standing there. They have, I mean, like, you're not bringing out no video. They're beating people up. They're slamming people to the ground.
So ICE is offering sign-on bonuses of up to $50K. So every other ethnic and racial group is supposed to benefit. But blacks, y'all can't be ICE agents because of reasons? Huh? No, I encourage them to be agents because not every one of us is going to be an ICE agent. And there's going to be a lot of gatekeeping as well. It's not like they're going to let a bunch of black people become ICE agents. They'll let a contingent be, and then the majority of them are going to be non-black. But instead of focusing on the majority of ICE agents being non-black, they want to blame the black ones. And Tara Sanchez says all money is blood money anyways. Well, I would have to concur because this is how you get the US dollar to be the standard of global currency. By bloodshed. You gotta crack some eggs to make an omelet. So they went around the world destabilizing, disenfranchising people, right? Bashing people over the head. RAPE, pillaging, plundering. And they said, look, we are the gold standard, which the dollar used to be backed by gold. And now it's just a promissory note. But hey, you can trust us because this is a white Christian nation. So you can trust that our blood money, you know, will hold its value. And the only way for it to hold its value is to go around and destabilize other parts of the world so that their currency can't rise, meet, or exceed the dollar. Now, a lot of that is changing with BRICS. However, that's not a quick fix. It's down the line. And the U.S. is trying to preemptively weaken the power and influence of the BRICS nation. But yes, and unfortunately, since we live in a capitalist society, people have to adhere to these capitalist principles in order to make a buck. You know what I mean? Whether you want to or not, you know, people are going to succumb to the environmental elements because you have to eat, you know, you have to put food on the table. And after a while, when people start comparing the conditions to places that they would consider living at, then they say, maybe the U.S. isn't so bad after all, right? People will think that the U.S. is, you know, which has its flaws, but they would rather live in the U.S. than communist China. And some people would say, you know what? Communism is my cup of tea, so I'd rather live in China. So it's all a matter of preference, you know? But yes, the dollar is upheld by brutality, barbarism, and violence. Nobody is saying that the dollar is going to be the U.S. gold standard by whispering sweet nothings in your ear.
Round and all this about, oh, you can pick another job. Like, what does that has to do with Black America? Black Americans have no ties to immigration. So listen, the message you should be telling that to, though, is the Hispanic ones. Immigration affects them and their community. It don't affect Black Americans like that. So if anybody that should be making those videos should be a Latina or Latino saying, hey, man, this is what you do in our community, then that would make a whole lot of sense for them to make that kind of video. But listen, young sister, you may don't know, didn't get the memo, but we're not fighting for other groups. They have nothing to do with us. So if a brother or sister want to be an ICE agent, if a brother or sister want to be a Border Patrol agent, then let them go do it. Let them do it. Because let me tell you something. If the roles were reversed and we could be rounded up, okay, other groups would have no problem rounding us up.
And let's just keep it a buck. When Trump said that he was going to deport criminals, a lot of people thought that he was going to deport Black Americans. And then they saw how rooted we are in this country and that we're foundational and that we're not immigrants by any sense in any definition of the word. Could you make us immigrants or even comparable to immigrants, even though there's a concerted effort to do that, right? This is mainly an issue with the Latinos, right? When Biden opened up the border, 80% of the people across the border was Latino. When you look at the Border Patrol and the ICE agents, close to half, if not half of them are Latino. So they support deportations. They're extremely and vehemently against immigration, period, but specifically illegal immigration, right? So you want to see who's hardline against the border. Most of the times is Latinos, which is why they said they will vote for Donald Trump.
They wouldn't be on here saying that's another job you can get. They'll be rounding us up and be glad to help white supremacists get our behind out of there. So why can't Black Americans be a part of ICE? Why? It's a job. The ICE agents getting paid right now. Unfortunately,
it's funny because then they'll say Blacks are low IQ, lazy, and then they'll say, okay, look, man, we don't want to be lazy. We want to go work a job, so I'm gonna go apply for ICE. Why are you doing that? You're just like a slave catcher, huh? I'm not trying to be lazy. I'm trying to go make something out of myself and go be an ICE agent. Just pick another job. Okay, like, so why is this law enforcement agency, like, they're not talking about people of color or Black people not becoming cops or not becoming Border Patrol or not becoming any other law enforcement agency, but it's only ICE. You guys can't become ICE. Why not?
Our brothers and sisters, the TSA agents aren't getting paid, unfortunately, and they play in politics. That's wrong. They should be paying the TSA agents. Anybody that's considered security and law enforcement should never worry about their checks. If anybody should lose their checks, it should be those congressmen. They don't do crap. They don't need a check. But TSA, Border Patrol, any kind of FBI, any kind of federal law enforcement or security, They should never have to worry about their payroll check or playing. Because think about it, the Democrats pulled that mess the last time, and they in the end conceded, and now they're doing it again, messing with TSA. And you know what I'm saying? These are a lot of brothers and sisters in our community who work TSA. You see them on the interviews. People aren't getting paid at all. But yet the Democrats keep playing around and not doing something so they can sit there and make sure these your men and women can get paid. That's because we have a partial government shutdown right now. Most people don't realize it because last time it was a full government shutdown. But right now it's a partial one, so people not even paying attention to it. But TSA agents, a lot of brothers and sisters that work in TSA, and I've met a lot of brothers and sisters that work TSA, they even watch our platform, right? And shout out to them in the different airports, definitely in Atlanta airport, Hartsfield Jackson, black people I've met in definitely Houston airport, some out there in New York, you know, just different places I've been, Chicago, another place I've met brothers and sisters at in the airport, and they need their check, man. The Democrats playing too much. But there's nothing wrong with a black person being an ICE agent. Nothing at all.
I concur. There is nothing wrong with a black person or any person being an ICE agent. If you have a problem with the agency, don't get mad at the employers, right? Because if that's the case, you should have an issue with anyone working at Tesla, right? Tesla has been known to be disgusting, anti-black, discriminated, but like a lot of people don't care. They're like, I'll still ride a Tesla, right? So if you don't care about how a company treated black people and you still support them because, hey, you need a job or you need a car, then don't try to call them sellouts because they may need a job and they may need to pay their car note, and ICE is the job that's helping them do that. So I'm going to play a little bit of Tariq Nasheed's response to this topic, and then I'm going to transition into the final story, which was Druski doing the skit of Erika Kirk, allegedly, and him showing how some conservative women act. Let's get into it.
Have been trying to shame foundational Black Americans who are now working for ICE. People are taking photographs of Black ICE agents who are at the airport doing their job and talking about, oh, this don't sit right with my spirit seeing a Black ICE agent. Oh, they're like the slave catchers. And keep in mind, these are foreigners doing this. These are people who are immigrants here, and there's people in the Caribbean and in Africa and the UK saying this about the Black American ICE agents. All right. Did somebody say FBA snitches? Hold on. In Africa? Okay, hop on in Africa. Yes. The family voted to have 19 keys removed, so we're going to have to remove them. In Africa, what's happening?
Nothing much. What's happening, Tariq? Why do you think it is right for FBA to work in ICE and snitch on Africans? You think it's okay?
To snitch on Africans?
Yeah. To snitch on Africans.
You mean the ones who come over here and run scams with our tax dollars? And stop recording the spaces.
No, I'm not recording.
Don't record the space. Okay, that ain't no damn snitching. Don't tell me about no damn snitching and you tethers run to the damn authorities trying to get a U visa, talking about somebody. The Black people beat me up, nigga. They beat me. Y'all run to try to get a U visa. You run to the authorities to say you got beat up or something happened to you so you can try to get a U visa so you can stay. That's snitching.
So what he's talking about, there is something called a U visa where if a immigrant was like threatened, harmed, or they can say that they feared for their life, persecution in America, then they can get a fast track to having a visa or some sort of legal status, permanent residency. So some people, there have been schemes where people have been trying to provoke and coerce people into fighting them. And then when you beat them up or something some sort of harm is done towards them, they apply for that, and you give them the ammunition to say, hey, it's true. Like, he did beat the crap out of me and I fear for my life. So look that up. It's called a U visas. Now, there are some legitimate instances where people were harmed and the U visa was appropriate. And then just like with anything else, whether it be welfare, PPP loans, it's also subject to fraud and abuse as well. And there is a lot of fraud and abuse with that. Let's get back into it.
The hell out of here. Yo, grams and kilos, you're not going to troll in here. Okay, y'all get grams and kilos out of here. Block that sassy thing. Jobs in the U.S. government, you going to do that. You understand? If there's some black folks who want to get those good jobs, protecting the country, well, so be it. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, these people trying to demand some kind of moral purity from us that they've never demanded from themselves. You're going to try to talk about, oh, that don't sit right in my spirit. Let me tell you something. Come on. Can y'all hear me? Oh, these folks are not going to shame our foundational Black American family for getting jobs, working for ICE, working for the government. And no. Because y'all send over hostile tethers like Myron Gaines, who's Sudanese, who work for Homeland Security, and he has vitriol for foundational Black Americans. You have so many damn tether-ass corrections officers in Texas, them Nigerian corrections officers in Texas. You got a bunch of them up there in Baltimore. You got a bunch of Caribbean correction officers out there in damn Florida. There was just a story in Florida. You had a Haitian correction officer beating up a Black inmate.
Yeah, this is something that people don't talk about. There's a lot of African and Caribbean immigrants that as soon as they get over here, many of them go and work for some sort of enforcement agency. A lot of times they're in jail, being the COs, beating the crap out of Black Americans, mistreating them, talking down to them. You niggas need to do what I say, doing all sorts of stuff. And people are just like, all right, man, whatever. They down bad. They got to get their coin. But then when you flip it and just say, hey, look, man, I got to provide for my family as well, then we are looked down upon as if we're not supposed to take advantage of these opportunities that everyone else is taking advantage of. No other group minds being in an enforcement agency and locking up Black people, not just locking us up, abusing us. You see, even in the case like Trayvon Martin, there's this Latino dude, Zimmerman. The cops told him to stop chasing them. He still chases them, says he fears for his life. They get in the scuffle and he ends up unaliving him, right? There's been multiple instances of Asian people unaliving Black cops. There's been instances of Black cops who are not really Black, they're blue, unaliving, and many of them were tethers coming from a foreign background. So we've been calling this stuff out, right? And others were saying, just shut up. If you don't do the crime, you have nothing to worry about. Well, when Black people become ICE agents and people didn't break the law and they're not illegal, alien, undocumented, however you want to frame it, they have nothing to worry about, right? You're just living your life as a citizen or a human being, and they're just doing their job like every other group is doing, right? What is wrong with that? And Tara says in California, they do shame each other for working for ICE. I would say some do. It all depends. Some do, some don't, right? And it's mainly the darker ones shaming the lighter ones because there's no race called Latino. There's no race called Hispanic. Many people believe blancamiento mejoró la raza. So when they're locking people up, it's usually the darker, browner Latinos. And when they get locked up, guess who they end up siding with? They end up siding with the white Woods and Aryans. And then some talk about black and brown and people of color coalition. It's like, what color are they? Many of them are actually white, and many of them align with whiteness. So what exactly am I uniting with? So yeah, so some of them shame each other for working for ICE, but why is it just ICE? There's Latino sheriff gangs in California. Do they shame each other for that? Many of them work for Border Patrol. Do they shame each other for that? Many of them are cops. Do they shame each other for that? Why just ICE? Many of them gatekeep when it comes to black businesses. They hire their own, and that's considered to be praiseworthy. Oh, they're just sticking together. But I thought this was about meritocracy, not about nepotism. So it's a lot going on, you know what I mean? But many of the Latinos in California, I'll say the majority of them, are very anti-black. The ones that say they're not anti-black, they're complicit because they don't want to call their community out. You see black people every day. You hear a bunch of Sambos, tethers calling out the black community, saying what they need to do, talking about accountability, degeneracy, all this other type of stuff. But we seem to be the only group that does that. Why are we the only group that is pressured by everyone else to assimilate and be a part of this white society? Well, the other groups are saying, do like what we did. Many of these other groups, they came over here, they bent over, spread cheeks, and got buck broken. And they voluntarily got buck broken because they seen, look, we saw what y'all did with the niggas. We don't want to be treated like the niggas. So what do we have to do to assimilate into whiteness? And to assimilate, the first order of business is to distance yourself from blackness. And once you do that, you get closer proximity to whiteness, but they let you know you're not white and you're not an Anglo. You're definitely not a heritage American. So while we'll put you a notch above the niggas, the blacks, yeah, you not like us. And that's, they hit them with the Heisman stiff arm. And then people, they try to get more vile and grotesque with their anti-black vitriol, thinking that it's going to ingratiate themselves with white mommy and daddy. Many of them start getting into interracial relationships. So then they have a kid and they say, hey, I'm even further assimilating because I'm distancing myself from blackness. And not only that, I'm marrying in and mating with whiteness. So like, hey, like, we're getting closer to be like you. But other people still see them as mongrels. They see you as above the niggas, but still not quite like us. You're not an Anglo and you're not a heritage American. Now, you can be a useful idiot. You can be a buffer group above the blacks to say, hey, look, you're a model minority. We're not racist. Look how good these other groups are doing. But you won't be Anglo and you won't be a heritage American, no matter how much you bend over, spread cheeks, and get buck broken with no lube.
Don't tell me about some snitching. You get these tethers who come over here and work in law enforcement and they abuse the hell out of us. Over there in Memphis, those tether officers who unalived that brother found out, I told people that those were tethers. They went to court and found out the main officer was damn Jamaican. The hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Yeah, they got all them Haitians working as COs in the jails out there, abusive as they damn want to be. The ICE agents, the foundational Black American ICE agents, they're not abusing anybody. They're not abusing anybody. They're doing their job. They're protecting the country. Yeah, y'all not going to try to shame us. Oh, no, we're not doing that. See, what they're trying to, the tethers are trying to act as if these Black American ICE agents are breaking some type of Pan-African code that we all have with each other. No, y'all ain't got no unified, enforceable Pan-African code with us. Y'all all move in lockstep for your own interest. Y'all go out of your way to distance yourselves from us. No, y'all not gonna play that game. Y'all not playing that game whatsoever. Y'all come over here, these immigrant groups come over here off our backs and our struggles and then compete directly against us. And then the minute you get a job position, don't let you get a supervisor role, because.
And that's the thing, right? If we're in a race, let's just say, hey, bro, you want to race? Okay, fine. That's why they say on your mark, set, go, right? On your mark lets you know, okay, we about to race. So you get on your mark, I get on my mark. Set. Okay, you really ready? Get set then. Go. Okay, now we're in the race. These other groups come over here and pretend as if we're in this mythical black and brown, people of color, marginalized group, minority coalition, but they're coming over here to compete with us. We're trying to collaborate, somewhat coddle them. They're over here trying to compete and conquer us. And that's fine. We're not shying away from competition. However, if we're in a competition and we don't even know, so you say you take off in a race and then you cross the finish line and say, I beat you in a race. Like, bro, I was chilling. I didn't know we was in a race. But if we're in a race, okay, on your mark, set, go. And now that's what a race is. I wouldn't want to even beat nobody in a race like that. Imagine you in a fight. I can beat this dude with the hands behind my back. You wait till he turns around and you sucker punch him and say, hey, I knocked him out. Why you didn't wait when he was looking into your eyes? Hey, I beat him in a race. Why you didn't wait when you were lined up and I was lined up? And that's all we saying. Stop with the fronting. That's why I say all slurs matter. Merch coming soon, right? Already got the merch. I'm just setting up, my apparatus so that you guys can purchase it, right? So, hey, if we really gonna be beefing, let's really be beefing. If we really gonna compete, let's really compete against each other. Since you believe that you're so much superior than us anyways, then let's just race head up. Let's just compete head up. You know what I mean? But that's not what people want to do. They want to be deceitful and they want to do a surprise attack where you think that, hey, you invite everybody to the cookout and you think, hey, man, these are our POC families, right? And then it turns around that they didn't put some cyanide in the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? They didn't put rat poisoning on the ribs because they were competing with you and they're trying to conquer you. And you're not invited to you're not invited to a bar mitzvah. What Chinese or Asian parties have you really been invited to? How many Latino festivals and fiestas have you truly been invited to? And if you are invited, is it only because you married in or you made it into the family? So if you didn't have relations with somebody there, you wouldn't be invited there. It's just an amigo or an amiga. You know the truth. But you've been convinced that that's not the truth in the name of solidarity, right? Where's the solidarity between Hispanic people? There's no solidarity. There's theatrics that make it appear like it's solidarity, and maybe there is solidarity to go against Black people, but where's the solidarity to go against the white power structure that destabilized their nations? You don't see it. They come over here and say, hey, I know Black Papi, Mejoró la raza, Blancamiento, Pinche Miate, Chango, right? All of these other terms. Where are the terms that they have towards the W people? Oh, they're gringos, right? You know what I mean? Does that really sound that bad? What sounds worse, gringo or Pinche Mayate, Chango, right? Which one really sounds worse? So, if you think that Hispanics are so united, where are the Mexican and El Salvadorian businesses and coalitions? Where are the Mexican and Puerto Rican coalitions? Where are the El Salvadorian and Venezuelan coalitions? Where are the Bolivian and Argentina coalitions? Right? Since they're so united, right?
Come over here, these immigrant groups come over here off our backs and our struggles and then compete directly against us. And then the minute you get a job position, don't let you get a supervisor role, because you start etching all the foundational Black Americans out, and then all of a sudden, everybody from your ethnic group is working at that place. And y'all know this is true. If you go somewhere and
And he's about to get into it where there's not a meritocracy, it's nepotism, right? If you go to a place and there's a bunch of Ethiopians, they go out of their way to make sure that the office is filled with and run by Ethiopians. You go to some nursing thing, it's filled and run with by Filipinos. Are these the only people that are qualified for the job? It's like, how do you get that many people in one department at one organization unless there's a concerted effort, unless there's some strategic discrimination going on? And we got Nassau County, the NYC fam in building. Salute Roger Meadows. I don't know which videos you're talking about. You sent a lot of videos, so you got to be specific. I don't know if I'll have time to play any of them right now, because after I cover this other story, I do got to get up out of here because I have a prior engagement. I got to go film a sporting event. So I'm going to play a little bit of this video. I'm going to transition to the next story.
Come over here off our backs and our struggles and then compete directly against us. And then the minute you get a job position, don't let you get a supervisor role, because you start etching all the foundational Black Americans out, and then all of a sudden, everybody from your ethnic group is working at that place. And y'all know this is true. If you go somewhere and there's a Jamaican supervisor, in 6 months, that whole office is going to be Jamaican. If you work in a hospital, y'all sisters who work in these hospitals, y'all know how it is. Let there be a Filipino damn supervisor. In 6 months, that whole floor is going to be Filipinos. Stop playing. If there's a CEO who's Haitian, in 6 months, all the CEOs going to be Haitian. If it's a Mexican person working in an office as a manager, 6 months from now, that whole office is going to be Mexican. The Black folks are going to get etched out of there. Ain't no damn solidarity.
And there you have it. It ain't no solidarity. So we're not going to keep doing this one-sided solidarity where everyone just leeches and tethers off of our pain, plight, and tribulations, and we get nothing out of it. Those days are not quite officially over, but they are coming to an end. They will be over once the buck broken, brain dead, boule and boomer class, you know, whether they're either deceased or they have an epiphany and come to our side. But yeah, for this modern generation, the younger generation going forward, yeah, we're putting the capes. We're retiring the cape. 'Tis the season, or 'tis the era, because this ain't just about a season. 'Tis the era to hold your own nuts. Just like everyone else tells us, hold your own nuts, hold your own filth, hold your own lineage, and hold your own accomplishments. Now, I'm going to get into this video. If you haven't liked the video yet, this is an opportunity to like that video. And while I pull up the other video, I'm going to give you a friendly reminder. Time for a like intermission. We kindly request that you show love to the channel's creator and platform by leaving a like, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest content. Liking posts is completely free and helps the algorithm boost our reach. We want to grow the community larger and larger. So thank you all who take the time to support us. It does mean the world to us and doesn't go unnoticed. And we are back at it. So now we're going to cover this story. So Druski, at first, some of Druski stuff that he was doing where I was like, that's okay. It's mediocre. It's funny-ish, or some of it wasn't funny at all. But over the past couple years, bro has really been ramping it up with his comedic skits. And one thing I like about Druski is because some people hate on him because he's not like he won't go down in the comedic Hall of Fame as a legend, i.e., Richard Pryor, Paul Mooney, Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle. He's not in that same realm in terms of his comedic genius and his comedic versatility. However, he is a comedic genius and he is versatile. And I think his genius comes in him willing to push the boundaries, him willing to take something that's offensive, take something that is cancelable, which would be a cancellation offense, in this cancel culture society, and he'll still push the boundaries and make it funny. Now, some people are mad because they're saying, well, what about blackface? It's like, bro, you guys have always been doing blackface. The thing is, they weren't making blackface funny. Blackface was to disparage and to denigrate. It wasn't even funny at all. They did blackface with Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr., but there wasn't a massive outrage because that movie was funny. Tropic Thunder was a funny movie. We can say that it was racist or racial for Robert Downey Jr. to be in blackface. Fine, I won't hold you. Maybe it was racist, but it was funny. So we don't mind racism in terms of jokes because Dave Chappelle told a lot of racist jokes. Most of the racist jokes or racial jokes was towards black people. But no one looked at Dave Chappelle as a racist, so they were willing to excuse the racist or racial jokes. But the other people who have been doing blackface, they've been doing blackface to just completely demonize and denigrate a group, and there was nothing funny about that. So Druski, even with the Wayans Bros, when they did White Girls, and that was whiteface, but they were being funny, it was comedic, and overall people liked it. So if y'all gonna do blackface, at least make it funny. But that's usually not what happens, right? Because no one could truly stop you from being doing blackface. People can get mad, upset, offended, and outraged. They're usually outraged because it's just buffoonery and bigotry rather than comedy. So we're going to get into this video. I'm going to play this the skit. There is a part where I will have to mute it because he plays some music and I don't want to get a copyright strike, but for the most part, I'll play it. You'll still see the visuals though. So let's get into this skit. And shout out to Druski, big Druski, not the little one.
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
how about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
closer to Jesus.
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
Congratulations! Sweet cream foam chai ice matcha. And Bella will have all organic pop cup. Organic? Yes, everything organic. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
Hey, I don't know who that brother is, but get get that brother in some movies, just them facial expressions alone.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
Yikes. So this one has caused quite a stir. So now we're going to look at the comments and see what people was talking about now. Prepare trigger warning. We already know it's going to be a bunch of whiny people in the chat. So let's see. Hold up. Terrain says between the ending of Sinners and this, that demographic is having some rough months. And this person says, hey, Grok, who is this? And they say, that's Erika Kirk, the actress, comedian in Druski's satirical skit. What movies has Erika Kirk acted in? So remember, look at all this, right? When Trayvon Martin was unalived by a Latino dude who they told him to stop, they had a thing where they were called Trayvoning. And y'all can see it on the screen, right? These were the high IQs people, right? Don't trip. This is just Trayvoning. And it's just a joke, bro. You can't take a joke. Okay, fine. You can't take Druski's joke. Looks like a Latino Trayvoning. And it just keeps going on and on. Looks like a Indian dude Trayvoning. Another melanated person Trayvoning, right? So people have always mocked black people, right? And we're just supposed to turn the other cheek and, you know. And here's the video.
Don't let anyone disenfranchise.
This is the video from what Druski was made, where he, let's just say this inspired his skit.
Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there. Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there.
Huh? Don't ever let anyone talk down to you, especially if you're a white man. Huh? Does this sound like victim mindset or not? All the time I hear the conservatives and the conservatives say that black people have a victim mindset. And here you got this chick over here with these fake tears saying, don't ever let anyone talk down to you. So what if they talk down to you? Aren't y'all that said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? If they're talking down to you, words will never hurt you. So what are you whining about? Look at who the top CEOs are, right? Most of the people who are the hiring managers are white. Most of the people who are the admissions in the Ivy League schools are white. Most military white. Most cops white. Most firemen white. Most air pilots white. Most defense contractors white. So when she says, don't ever let anyone talk down to you, who is talking down to you, right? And then when they try to frame it as if white people are being discriminated during hiring practices, it's white people in most of the positions of power. You are disproportionately in the positions of hiring power, yet you're saying white men are being discriminated against. And let's just say that they were. who would be the ones discriminating against them? You said blacks are just low IQ, savage, thuggish niggers, right? And they don't have any power. So fine, the thuggish ruffians aren't discriminating against you. So clearly it would have to be people in your community who look just like you. They're the ones discriminating against you. However, who do you blame? George Floyd and BLM. George Floyd has been dead for how long? Peter Thiel ain't dead, though. Elon Musk ain't. Bill Gates ain't dead. So all of the people who are making your life miserable, you have no smoke for them. But you're mad at George Floyd because he was allegedly high off fentanyl. How does him being high off fentanyl, how does that affect your ability to buy a house? George Floyd allegedly being high off fentanyl, how does that affect gas prices? You can't afford daycare for your little baby, and somehow that's BLM's fault? Make it make sense. Let me play this victim mindset one more again.
Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there. Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there.
Okay. Victim mindset 101. But here she goes again.
We usually did before tours. We said a prayer and we asked the Lord to protect us. And we asked the Lord that his will be done. That's what we did.
At one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business.
We usually did before tours. We said a prayer and we
Talk about mothers. Oh, you want to talk about mothers? It's mother time. Okay. Oh my God, you want to talk about mothers? Oh, you want.
Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing. Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked.
This is wild. So allegedly Charlie Kirk said Jew hate was brain rot, but he was anti-black. So anti-blackness isn't brain rot, but hating Jews is. And a lot of people don't even hate Jews. People is like, hey, bro, we hate the genocide that you're presiding over. Maybe stop slaughtering people disproportionately, women and children. How about that? Could y'all stop doing that? You hate the Jews. It's like, no, bruh, I just don't want to see kids getting limbs amputated with no anesthesia. I don't want to see a bunch of cute little kids with 4 limbs chopped off, right? How does that make me anti-Semitic again? You support terrorism and Hamas. It's like, come on, bruh. Like, is that all you took from what I said? You know what I mean?
In the place where our Lord walked. And see the Bible come to life in Technicolor. How could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people?
life on the ropes. Too supported.
I can't play the music, so I had to mute that part, but y'all see it. Erika, is that you? Is that Erika? She hitting it though. Salute to Erika, right? But yeah, was Druski out of line for this?
Organic. Yes, everything organic. Yes, everything organic. Yes, everything organic.
I mean, I like organic. But yeah, so my thing is like I don't want to hear the, you know, when people say selective outrage and all this other type of stuff. White people have been doing all sorts of blackface and it hasn't been funny. It's just been straight disparagement. So one thing about Druski is funny, and I will play this to trigger some people, right? Yes, a lot of y'all whining, you know what I mean? So yeah. And look, this is what they said. Hey, comedy, you should be able to push the boundaries, right? So Druski is just pushing those boundaries. So hey, I salute to the bro. Some people think that he took it too far, but I don't think that he went far enough. You know what I mean? So salute to Druski. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Did he take it too far? You know, was that just in poor taste for him to do that? I would say no. I appreciate it. I thought it was hilarious. So salute to Druski on that. And you know what? It's about that time for me to get ready to shut her down. I want to give a shout out and a gracious thank you for everyone that's been here. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world. Y'all chose to be here with me, at least momentarily. And for that, I thank you. Now, I will play a series of short videos, and hopefully you guys stick around to the end. This will give you an ample opportunity to like, share, and comment on the stream. After the stream ends, I would appreciate if you leave a comment. If you hated the stream, you can say B-Eazy, F you, I hate you, you don't know what you're talking about. And you know what? I'll respond to it. Or you can say I love you and I support you. You know what I mean? So my channel was shadow banned. So there is a way to try to overcome the shadow banning is by sharing and engaging with the content. And Tara Sanchez says it was funny. Yeah, I thought it was funny too. Salute to Druski. Other people were super triggered by it. But if you're going to be bigoted and racist with your jokes, at least make it funny. I'm not against racist and bigoted jokes, but at least make it funny and don't be a racist or a bigot yourself, because you could make a racist joke and not actually be racist, right? It's just kind of like you making an offensive or a hateful joke to someone, but don't necessarily hate them. It can be done in jest or tongue in cheek is what they would say. So yeah, if you're going to be racist, at least make it funny. And I'm not saying that makes it right or that you have a license to be racist, but at least be funny. And Ricky Williams says it's sad to say for content creators, you have to do like Charleston White, who are called Coonston White. You have to start wagging the finger at the black community or they will suppress you. Yeah. If I was talking about black on black crime, didn't do nothing's 1350, the usual suspects, black people have an accountability problem. Black people are degenerate, depraved, and debaucherous. If I can like that, I'll be well over 1,000 subs. I might be at 10,000 subs, and YouTube will continually signal boost me. But however, since I'm talking about things that provide solutions, things that are critical of the establishment and the political apparatus and of various ethnic and cultural groups, including my own, that gets suppressed and considered as boring because people want to hear all sorts of fighting and bickering and things like that. That is what moves the needle in terms of entertainment content, but I try to make valuable content more so than Jerry Springer drama-esque content. Now, you will be entertained, you will be enlightened, but the core premise of me creating this is to tap in with the fam, but to also give y'all something that y'all don't typically see on YouTube. Someone that can be intellectually astute, someone that can joke. You know, I can get a little bit colorful with the language, a little bit offensive, a little bit over the top. However, I can reel it back in and deliver you something, you know, that will be palatable for you to hear and listen to. And I only do this because of y'all, right? I need an audience to preach and bestow this knowledge to. And I'm not only teaching, I'm here to be taught. So while I'm teaching y'all, I'm learning from y'all as well, right? That's what a collective does. But the look at the character that Robert Downey Jr. portrayed beside a black man, he betrayed a gay priest. I don't see the humor and none of that. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is not humorous. They just try to frame it as comedy so that it gives them a pass to be offensive. Just like a lot of people, they try to, you know, call people racial slurs. It's just a joke, bro. But then if you say, okay, fine, can I jokingly call your mama a bitch? It's just a word, bro. And I was joking. I didn't really mean that your mama is a bitch. I was joking when I called her a bitch. If you mad that I called your mama a bitch, how about I call your daughter a bitch? But don't trip. It's just a joke, bro. How many people would just let that slide? Roger says, everyone thought Chappelle was funny. Who Druski comes nowhere close to. And yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to say. In racial satire, bruh, Dave Chappelle had black people as crackheads, junkies, degenerates, and all this stuff. But people didn't see Dave Chappelle as a racist person. And most of the racist jokes went towards his community. So it was like, hey, well, Dave Chappelle is black, so clearly he's not racist towards the blacks, right? But Dave Chappelle said they let loose when it turns to being racist towards blacks. But when he wanted to call gay people Yaggit, but put an F in the front of it, right? They said he couldn't do that. When he wanted to call Jewish people Ikes and put a K in front of it, they said he couldn't do that, right? So there's some people that you're allowed to joke about, right? Y'all see what happened with the trans community. One of Dave Chappelle's best friends was a trans person, and the trans people, every time he jokes about them, they call him transphobic. When he jokes and says racist things about black people in a joking manner, no one calls him anti-black. He jokes about trans people and suddenly he's transphobic. And one of his best friends, who was a trans person, allegedly committed an unaliving on themselves because they were bullied by the trans community. So the trans community bullied another trans person into committing an unaliving on themselves. And guess who they blamed? Dave Chappelle for his Netflix special. Okay. So I'm going to play these visuals and I'm going to get ready to shut her down. So before I get up out of here, you know, I'm gonna hit you. Yeah. Hey. Hey. B-Eazy Dat Dude, Hey. Shit so hot it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up. I bring the pain like an aftermath of a car wreck. It's a lot of niggas that say they real, but to me that shit is far-fetched. Function cats is pussy. They really is on some feminine
Sandman like Goku. Bad bitches at the house with me watching Netflix or Roku. Fuck them both at the same time, and I swear to God it was so cool. Street legend, real boss, I call shots cause I'm still saucy. I know some G's to the bike crack on shite racking and fly back out to Milwaukee. When they hear me flow, they say I be burning up, burning up. Cookies to the drawer is what we burning up, burning up. What you ain't know, oh we burning up, burning up. This shit so hot, it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up. When you hear me flow, say I be burning up, burning up. Cookies to the drawer is what we burning up, burning up. What you ain't know, oh we burning up, burning up. This shit so hot, it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up.
B-Eazy that dude. B-Eazy that dude. Yeah, they know the name. Stacking up the paper, but having money ain't a thing. Standing on business, burning hotter than a flame. From the block to the ballroom, you gotta stand the rain. B-Eazy that dude. Yeah, they know the name. Stacking up the paper, but having money ain't a thing. Standing on business, burning hotter than a flame. From the block to the ballroom, you gotta stand the rain. B-Eazy that dude, yeah they know the name. B-Eazy that dude. B-Eazy that dude. B-Eazy that dude.
Oh, B-Eazy. We all here to see B-Eazy. We want to listen to B-Eazy. Ayy. We all like B-Eazy. Nah, matter of fact, we love B-Eazy. Believe me, he really that dude. Subscribe to the channel. It's easy to do if you care. This fire content extraordinarily rare. That's why I put that on my mama. He is that dude. I put that on my daddy. He is that dude. So B-Eazy, tell me how it feel. Ooh, tell me how it feel to be real, to be real, to be really that dude. B-Eazy, tell me how it feel. Ooh, tell me how it feel to be real, to be real, to be really that dude. B-Eazy, B-Eazy, that dude. Ay, 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 that dude. Oh, you ain't know. That's just B-Eazy. Ay, ay, that's just B-Eazy, that dude. B-Eazy is that dude. You hear me? You feel me? Ooh, ooh. B-Eazy that dude, yeah. B-Eazy. B-Eazy, B-Eazy, he is that dude. It's plain and obvious. A certified professional, ain't never been a hobbyist. He is one of the nicest, realest, coldest, and dopest. So you should take notice. Woo! That dude, B-Eazy, that dude, B-Eazy, that dude. Show love and support to B-Eazy, that dude.
B-Eazy, B-Eazy.
Oh, you ain't know? That's just B-Eazy, A-A, B-Eazy, that dude. B-Eazy, he is that dude. B-Eazy, that dude, ayy.
Ooh, B-Eazy. He's styling and profiling, fresher than a mannequin.
Hey, yo, who's that? Mama, there go that man again.
He the one who get the block booming and make the trap move. I'm still trying to figure out who is that dude.
Oh, you ain't know?
That's just B-Eazy, ay, B-Eazy, that dude. B-Eazy, he is that dude, so you gotta let him cook. He be going dumb off the hook, got all them haters shook. He a king, you a rook, so don't ever start tripping, get it twisted or mistook. Ay, 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 ay. already know, for sure, you already know. It's easy to see why he is that dude. He's been a favorite, even if you hating it. Give him his flowers, pay him respect. He's a certified legend and one of the best. B-Eazy, remember the name.
B-Eazy Dat Dude.
B-Eazy, he is that dude. Ooh, he is that dude. That dude, B-Eazy, he is the one that you can call so he can get the job done. He about to reign supreme if you thought his run would soon end. He just getting started though, so go ahead and tune in. B-Eazy, he is that dude. Ooh, he is that dude.
You love me. You really love me. You're not going anywhere.